Hey, if you've popped in, popped by, just so happened to be on your screen and pop up, you may have been waiting for a minute, but I'm live. Still feeling a little weepy. It's fine. I love my friends. This has been like the week of friends and family. Okay. First is the friends, and then is the family, and then is the lovers. What? Okay, anyway. Hi. So, a few things, I guess. I don't know. I want to change the title to the last video. I don't have my iPad. Sad. I want to change the title of the last video, but we'll see. And I guess it was because, like, at first, there were a few things that I feel like were kind of lost on me. I'm using the Pride Tarot because I'm wearing mine. I saw this on the social medias and I had to order it. So anyway, I was like, I don't have any Pride apparel. And I've been thinking about the Pride Tarot, especially since I used the Next World Tarot. And I am like 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure of maybe anything. I'm like 99.9% sure that Christy Rhodes is one of the illustrators in this deck. So we're gonna go with it. Oh, look, there's the magician at the bottom of the deck. But it makes sense. I actually had a dream. Hey, Steph, how are you doing? I had a dream a while ago. I was gonna look it up about like magic and stuff. I had a dream that there was a world that was opening and there was an envoy. Is that the word? There was like an ambassador, an envoy, the first humans, the first of mankind to almost like for the move. When are you moving again? Did you say it was next month or the end of the month? I mean, I guess regardless of when it is, time is so quick, it'll be here before you know it. Also, we have our usual non-sponsor, our new usual non-sponsor today. But it's mostly gone, so I've been experimenting trying to find an iced coffee that I like. I think I'm getting close. Well, I'm sure. Well, I hope everything goes well. Oh, I'm sure your daughter and grandkids are gonna miss you. There's that devil. The Seven of Cups and the devil. Devil energy has been like, it's been circulating. Oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't mean it to whatever, but it's like, do whatever you got to do to like take care of you, right? We have to, sometimes we got to take care of ourselves before we can help take care of others, right? Whatever thou needest. Excuse me. Devil energy has been coming out a lot lately, but the Seven of Cups in the SKT, and I know this isn't the SKT, but I've been reading the Magician in the SKT, and the Seven of Cups in the SKT has also been showing up. And in the Seven of Cups, there is the Axe of Shiva, and the Axe of Shiva removes corruption. And so because that axe of Shiva has been like popping up a lot lately too in the tower, both the tower and the Seven of Cups. And there was the devil proof, well, becoming devil proof. So it's like it's devil energy, but without the corruption of devil energy. What is devil energy without corruption? It could be satisfaction, right? It can be a healthy amount of self-indulgence that doesn't border on toxicity or addiction. Um, and that was also the Ace of Wands and the King of Pentacles, the final cards last time I was live. Because, like, a King of Pentacles, in one way, a King of Pentacles knows what they need to do outside of work to remain effective at work. So the King of Pentacles is the one who's going to take a break and use his vacation, their vacation, and everything, because it keeps them from burning out. It keeps them fresh. It keeps their minds able to focus on what they need to focus on when they need to focus on it. Like, the break is just as important as the work, because without the break, the quality of work suffers, right? And like with the association with family, like a King of Pentacles does more than just work, work, work. Like King of Pentacles, like that same King of Pentacles energy, will also spend time with their family. It won't prioritize money or a job so much that the home life suffers, because as the master or the ruler of the entire anything physical, it's able to sustain that balance. And so devil energy without corruption would be that, like, the Hierophant would be more like the piousness, but the devil would be the, like, but also don't forget to enjoy your life. Because while you are here for whatever greater, grander purpose and reason, like, you're also meant to enjoy life. Now, when, like, devil energy is, of course, like, super easy to dip into, like, the all work, no play. All play, no work. So it's not balanced. What else is devil energy without corruption? I feel like devil energy without corruption is a different kind of guide, if that makes sense. For this in particular, I don't know if it's necessarily, because, like, spend each day as if it were your last is a little kind of grim for devil without corruption. Because I feel like that, because I don't know, there's also like a thought about tomorrow. Well, I guess it's just the saying, right? And the saying, yes, but I feel like a lot of times it's like, you wouldn't work on your last day. Or like there are other things that we need to do in our day-to-day lives that we wouldn't necessarily do if it was our last day. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. But yeah, it would be that. Because, like, that's that side of the coin. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. That side of the coin being like, spend each day as if it were your last. The other side of the coin, the more Hierophant side of the coin, being like, okay, but I still got to be able to buy the ticket to wherever if it's my last day. It's not like everything is free on your last day. It should be. Never mind. Sorry. Anyway, I think devil energy without corruption is also like a kind of guide. Just how, like, you have the angel on your shoulder and the devil on your shoulder. Because, like, temptation is almost sometimes more or less ubiquitous, like it's everywhere. But to have temptation, like a non-corrupt temptation, that could be just like, it feels very similar to like a gut feeling, right? Like if you see someone who's in need and you have the ability to help them, and there's something in you that's like I should go over there and like do this, or I should do that. Like the impulse that we have to do good deeds feels like it could also be like devil energy without corruption. It's more like impulsive, I guess, in a way, and less. It doesn't have to be bad impulse, and it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a bad impulse. It just feels like devil energy without corruption is like impulse. A lot of times we hear impulse. I think it's like, I went and I got a tattoo on impulse, or I went and I gambled all my money away on impulse. Like, I went and I did this, but there are things that we do that are positive or that we really want to do for ourselves on impulse, right? So, like, if Hierophant would be the plan, devil energy would be the impulse. And again, for a healthy balance in life, we gotta need both. I guess we don't need both, but you get what I'm saying. Um, so anyway, I had a dream a while ago that there was an envoy of humans and their ambassador, an ambassadorship. There was some kind of ambassadorship between the super magical place and people. And the super magical place were like, okay, like part of our ambassador program or whatever, or part of getting used to and accustomed to and acquainted to our world is to understand magic. Like, magic is a thing here. And then there was one of the ambassadors that was like, oh, I know about magic. Like, we have magic, like where we come from. And it was like, no, like the magic that y'all have where you come from is like such a small percentage, such a small percentage of like what magic is here. And it's like, I guess it's like, when you're used to, like, let's say that you have a lemon and you juice your lemon. Let's say you juice your lemon very well. Like, magic, the implication was that magic where humans are from is like juicing a juiced lemon. So, like, yeah, you can like maybe get a little bit more stuff, but like juicing a lemon that's already been juiced versus like juicing the freshest, plumpest, juiciest lemon that hasn't even been cut yet, like, it's different. So anyway, I had a thought about that earlier. Then I think about the magician from yesterday and how a lot of magician energy is like illusions and tricks for people, right? If someone's like, oh, I'm a magician, they're a master of illusion, they're a master of deception, they may be a master of disguise, they distract while the actual magic happens. And so it was kind of lost on me that like the discerning one and the hanged one and the seeker all like came out first. And there was such that heavy energy about like it's someone who sees through illusion naturally. Like they don't even, that was the energy. Oh, the Two of Wands was just at the cut. The Two of Wands was at the cut with the Seven of Cups. And I was like, I saw the Two of Wands and I didn't get it, but the Two of Wands in the SKT is the discerning one. Anyway, it's just like their discernment is so strong or innate that they see through illusion without attempting to see through illusion. Like they just see truth. And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense for the magician. Like for like, especially in like what is actual magician energy, because with the Tria Prima scheme or with the Tria Prima schema, like one element is a function of the other three. We know we have fire if we do the Western, because there's what like metal if you go, and then like other elements in different systems. But with the traditional, not traditional, you want to speak of tradition? Well, what's older? What's been around longer, girl? I'm sorry. With the standard Western centric, whatever. There's the four. And in the Tria Prima, it was what? Fire, salt, and air. And then, but we know that there's also water. So when, and I've talked about it, but the magician has four aces on the table. And the magician also, like, that's another thing too. Like the magician is the master of those tools. So there's a difference between like knowing how to use a tool and like being a master craftsman with that tool. Because a master will do things with that tool that the most experienced wouldn't even like believe that you can do with that tool. But the master, like, it's just like to a whole nother level. So not only was it like being the master of each of those tools, also it's like true magician energy, not the 3D, like the one of illusion and tricks and deceit to, you know, fool someone into thinking that something is happening. It's like the real deal. So again, like I shouldn't have been surprised that it was so whatever, but I just thought about that. How it was so heavy, like seeing through illusion, and then like how the magician here is like, you know, the master of illusion. So anyway, I'm sure there was something else in there that I've forgotten, but it's fine. I feel like it's fine. I was gonna say I feel like this isn't low enough, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, and the sleeves are a little like, I don't know. You see that? Well, that's also because I'm doing whatever, but yeah, that was that. Was there anything else? Yeah, there was the Matrix thing. Because I feel like thank you. In the Matrix, because I was like, you can't break the Matrix from inside the Matrix, or that energy came through. Because it's like the truth of the mastery of the magician is so far outside of anything, like even trying to use astrology to crack the code. It's like it's already been encoded. But I think because, you know, when we watch the Matrix movie, the Matrix actually starts who knows how long before the Matrix. And it's not just when the machines like first took over, but in the Matrix, there are people outside of the Matrix that were breaking into the Matrix to break other people out of the Matrix, right? And they were talking about Neo like he was the one. So the first Neo would have broken the Matrix from inside the Matrix with no external assistance. And again, it's like the Matrix is so intelligently designed that it's not going to reveal the flaw in its code. And again, that just like with the discerning one and the hanged one, that was the like spiritual discernment. It was just reading like, this isn't logic that you can apply to something and it doesn't make sense. Like this isn't catching, it's not catching a glitch in the way that's like, oh, well, 1 + 1 = 2 and this math ain't mathing. It was something that was so much more deeply rooted within the being of someone. Right? Anyway, it's fine. It was like a purely spiritual discernment. Oh, look, there's the Ace of Swords. Anyway. But I'm like, what do I do now? That curiosity. Ooh, the Ace of Swords in the Sun. What? That was the warrior. That was the 4th card. It was the discerning one, the hanged one, the seeker, and then the warrior. And the warrior was standing before the flame of truth, the fires of truth. Cool. All right, let's just, I don't know, see what's ahead. What was I going to do? I don't even remember what I was going to do. It's fine. I think Mars has officially entered Capricorn now. Maybe. You don't have to like post it, but maybe you just like do something for yourself. Like, hey, Spirit, like we going through it a little bit over here. Give me something to like, you know, give me a little something. I don't know why I've been live so consistently lately. I mean, over the overall life of my channel, it's not too weird, but I feel like I wasn't being this consistent. before. It's fine. I do want to use these though. There is a spread in here. I guess the Seven of Cups came out and it was a rainbow. It's like the 7 colors in the rainbow each symbolize something different. Red is life, orange is healing, yellow is sunlight, green is nature, blue is serenity, and violet is spirit. I think there was another card, or there was another color that symbolized something. There's the parade spread and then the rainbow spread. I feel like I had an idea of something that I wanted to do. Oh, we're in the snap. What? He's the one that made the deviant moon? Wow. I'm in the attribution part of the book. I've never been down here. Or back here. I've never been back here. I'm trying to look for Christy C. Rhodes because here she is. Christy C. Rhodes, Cuban American artist, writer, and musician. Through visual art, storytelling, and punk rock music, C. Rhodes has strived to testify to the beauty of the imperfect since she began creating art in her hometown of Miami, Florida. She grew up as a self-taught figure drawing artist with a penchant for all things that question society. C. Rhodes has a BFA in illustration from the Ringling School of Art and Design, an MFA from FIT. C. Rhodes has almost 20 years of independent publishing under her belt, along with years of creating countless illustrations for magazines, record albums, event posters, and social justice organizations. She also teaches workshops and lectures across the nation. In early 2006, C. Rhodes released her first novel, Indestructible. She is the creator of the Next World Tarot. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. That she is. That she is. What are we doing? I kind of had a. We'll see. We'll see. Let me. See, I'm not using my laptop now, so I don't have 2 screens, but my screen is wide enough that I can do this. I can do that, actually. Why don't I do this more often? Because I don't have my keyboard up. That's why. I might have it on my computer. I should have it in here. Like I would have had to save it before I sent it, right? Maybe not. Is it? No, it was on a flash drive. Darn it. Where is that flash drive? Oh, it's literally right here. Also, ever since I turned off that feature to like shut off my Wi-Fi adapter to save power, I think we've been okay. And I'm not jinxing it. I'm just mentioning. That was another thing I was going to talk about. I was talking with like Reem, of course. And like she made me cry twice. Like I said, it's the week of friendship and okay, Steph, I need to cook too. I'm gonna cook after this. I hope you make something yummy. Excuse me. I was talking to her. Okay. It's not on here. I'm gonna have to. Um, I'm sorry. I opened up. I'm looking for the spread, right? And I only have 2 files. I forgot I did this. I forgot all about this. How long did this take me? This is like 10 pages. I miss like just like writing or typing reads. I've talked about it before, but like when I type or write, my brain engages the demiurge. That was another thing. Um, I was going to mention for some reason, but I already forgot. When I like write or type, it engages my brain differently. And so, like, if I'm talking, I have to rely on my ability to basically hold information, and like I have to rely on my memory to like keep the information as I'm like trying to like talk about it. And then like I'll try to like break something down or explain something or try to like tell you why it means what it means to me or try to like map out for you my mental connections, and then all of that like I lose it. But if I'm typing it, like if I get another thought, I can always just like break the paragraph and I can keep breaking, and then I can go back through and finish whatever that like I jumped away from. So but my brain just works like that. You know what I mean? And sometimes I can like, I feel like when I type or write, more often than not, I can go back and finish the thought. Sometimes that train is gone. Like if I wait too late or if too many tangents happen. Um, look at the bottom of the deck. It's the Hanged Man. What? With the apple! I literally ate an apple. So I was going to go live earlier, right? And I was starving, so I ate an apple. And I was like, look at me eating an apple. And then here, the hangman in this deck has an apple and an egg. I have eggs that I need to use. I already closed it. Never mind. Okay. Oh, that's the microphone. I'm like, what's happening? Is it safe to eject yet? I think so. I could pull it up on my phone. Fine, I'll pull it up on my phone. I will pull it up on my phone. Never mind. I had a thought today, and I was about to share the thought, but apparently there are some new folk here. That's fine. Can I be like honest with y'all for a half second? I mean, for more than a half second. Um, so my Chiron is in Leo, and if you know astrology, then you may have some ideas of what that might mean for me. If you don't know astrology, basically, like I don't necessarily like the spotlight or standing out isn't necessarily something that like I aim to do, but at the same time, I don't know if it's a healthy enough dose of Aquarius. Like I don't mind being my own person. Like I can appreciate myself for my weirdness and uniqueness and all of that, but I also like don't necessarily want a whole bunch of attention. You know what I mean? Um, so anyway, and the number, like the YouTube number, has been something that I go through bouts with it. Where it's like if it gets a little too high, I'm like, And I don't know, for some reason here lately, I've gotten a few more subscribers. And it's not that I don't appreciate you for subscribing, but also I'm like, why are people here? But anyway, I saw the number like drop by 1 and I felt comfortable. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes me feel so much better. I was like, why am I like this? It's fine. That was it. That's all I had to say. My Chiron and Leo still, while healed in a lot of ways, she does still Chiron every now and then. I'm going to find this. I know I have it. I know I have it in my email. And we're just going to see what's up because I had the thought to try to see what's up. I was going to use these. Oh my gosh. I have dragon decks. Why am I not using the dragon decks for the Year of the Dragon? Hello? Maybe that's next on the menu. This is kind of interesting because I had the thought to bring my tea stand from my phone. I was like, I'm not going to use it. But now I'm like, man, I could have had the spread pulled up at the very least. Maybe not. All right, I'm going to give it a few shuffles and then we'll look at the cut just to see what's up. Okay. We have the Firefly and the Crow. Ooh. The Firefly feels like it's inside of this, and the Crow is sitting on top of it. Do with that what you will. Take it as it resonates. I should do a take it as it resonates reading where I just pull cards and I'll be like, take it as it resonates. And I'll pull another one, take it as it resonates. And so you build your own reading. I'll pull the cards, but the resonance and the messages are all yours. I mean, you don't need me to like, if it's going to be a read your own reading, you don't need me to pull the cards. Nobody needs me to do anything. Ooh, now the Swan is with the Crow. Oh, snap. Take it as it resonates. Why are you like this? Why are you so weird? If you don't like me, you can leave. I'm kidding. Let me stop. I'm sorry. Let's do a few more. This is interesting. Oh, snap. I'm going to have to read that. Now it's the lizard and the hummingbird. Okay. I feel like, okay. So the cosmic egg is at the bottom of the deck, and this is what I see. The snake came out, and then this card fell out face down on top of the snake. Is this the egg from the snake? And then we have, what's that called? The flower of life or something like that. Some kind of sacred geometry, something. The lamb. The lamb is the egg. Oh my gosh, it's the egg. I already ate the apple. I'm kidding. The lamb. Is this? It's chimeric. It has to be like a chimera. Or is it Capricorn? Giraffe? Like, why do I feel like there's like a lamb, like a mythological creature that has like a snake for a tail, but it's a lamb on the front? I know in the mystical creatures, there's the one Barometz, I think. And it's like part plant, part lamb. Ooh, girl, we all over the place. It's fine. Yeah, that's part land, part plant. Um, I feel like there was something else I was going to say. I don't even remember. I feel like there are a few things I was going to say that I don't remember, but it's fine. If I don't remember, then obviously it's fine. Right? Right. Can I see? Can I see? Can I see? Random noises. Hi, Patrick. Oh my gosh, that's me. I don't send many emails from this email account. Whoa, we went way back. I really don't send too many emails from this account. Like I've already reached the beginning. Is it this one? Is it you? No. Is it? It? I don't think it's on here. Wow. Oof. I gotta go to the restroom. I drank a whole thing of water. Eve! Oh my gosh. Not Eve popping up. So I'm looking for a spread, right? And I'm like, I don't think I go into my sent box and then I typed in a keyword and then the email to you popped up. And I'm going through. Oh, it's literally right here. I just didn't see it. It's fine. Apparently, I did one first and then zero. I gotta run to the restroom. I'll be right back. I should like really invest time into making an AFK screen because I do it often enough. Oof. Also, if the tree looks a little different again today, that's because I knocked it over. Like fully on the ground. Ornaments were lost. It was really quite tragic. Um, and also, I knocked over Rudolph. I knocked over Rudolph in the tree. And like Rudolph's jacket came off. So that's why these are snugger than they were before, because I like really put it on there anyway. Anyway, hi Holly, hi Eve. How art thynist doing today? Capricorn is the seagull, and I thought about that because I guess like snakes have scales and fish have scales. Ooh, a bottom trim section. Ooh, it's like a goth little house on the prairie dress. Love it. Excuse me. What was I talking about? I had another. I keep like recalling things and forget. Also, like there's another. Like I said, this week has been the week of friendship. Um, like that quote, "A friend is someone who sings you the song of your heart when you've forgotten the lyrics." Like invaluable. I've had some other friends on my mind. Ones that like people that I've been meaning to reach out to for honestly at this point, kind of like weeks. But I've been so bad lately. And on like, especially on like WhatsApp or whatever, I'm the king of like long voice notes, like 15-minute voice notes. The longest voice note I've sent may have been like 20 minutes. I'll do better. I don't know. It's just been like, I don't know what's been up with me. Anyway. Oh, I have this. Okay, cool. I pulled this up and then I closed it. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna do this real quick, and then we're gonna see. We gonna see how it works out. I had like, I don't know, it's fine. All right, what is this for? General. See, I feel like maybe that's another thing too. Like another thing about like curiosity, there's like almost no point. Not that there isn't a point. It's not focused, maybe. All right. What are we doing? I don't know. Then I feel like if I only do one, and then I had a thought to do something else. I don't even remember what I had a thought to do. I've been enjoying the rest, honestly. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Potentially addictive in moderation. Ooh, wait, were you catching up or have you been here? Have you been here the whole time? Or did you go back when I went to the bathroom? Ooh, okay, the oyster just came out. And the mouse is at the bottom of the deck. So the oyster came out, and I was like, "Oh, okay. So like, are we hiding something, or are we revealing something?" And then the mouse was at the bottom of the deck, and they both had that same cosmic, sorry, whatever vibe going on. I'm like, okay, we'll just talk like a little bit. We'll just like reveal a little bit. Like the oyster will do a little, a little. I feel like I don't feel like oh, where's the moon? Oh my gosh. Ah. Give me a second. Gosh. Oh. Why am I so weepy today? Goodness. I need to go back to sleep. I need to go back to sleep. Oh my gosh. It's fine. I don't know why I'm so emotional today. Goodness. I'm just gonna breathe. Usually I don't mind crying, but I'm just like, I don't feel like it today. You know what I mean? We're just gonna take a moment. Okay. You can skip ahead if you're not watching this live, or you can click off and come back, or you can just click off and don't come back. Uh, Goodness. Ugh. Scorpio moons used to do it to me back in the day, like what, 2019, 18? Like kind of when I was first getting into astrology. Well, not even first getting into astrology. It's like after my darkest night when I started to like face things and tune into myself or whatever. Like them Scorpio, like Scorpio moons and Pisces moons. Cancer moons, I was fine. Um, but I remember like one day I was on campus in the dining court and just like started to tear up all of a sudden. I was like, oh, the moon must be in like Scorpio or Pisces. And it was. I looked on my app and it was. I was like, oh my gosh. And I hurried up and I went home because I was like, I don't want somebody to think that I'm crying because I'm eating by myself in the dining hall. Like I like eating by myself, right? Like I can handle it. I much prefer to eat by myself than to like eat with somebody that I don't really know or that I don't want to eat with. I'm like, I don't know. I like my own company. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to spend time with you, you have to compete with me. And I like spending time with me. So I'm just kidding. All right. I think I'm good now. All right. Ooh, that was close. Oh. I was like, oh, Eve, did you like go back to the beginning? All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So I'm not taking jumpers. I guess I could have left it out. Oh, and then there's the fox. Fox is like, leave me alone, fox. Fox is going to be my resident coyote. All right, one more. Oh gosh, just like hit me. I'm like, oof, oof. Okay. All right, I'll just try not to think about it. I will do my best to not think about it. To not think about it. I'm actually going to pull both of these. Headphone users beware. Let me stop. Sometimes I am like, why am I like this? It's because I got Aquarius in my chart. Anyway, okay. So this is how we're going to do this. Ooh, girl. I don't see this angel anymore. This angel used to come out all the time, honey. I did this wrong. Do I keep it? Yeah, they are. They're wearing Christmas sweaters. My mom, that was part of, so this was so there was like the decorations that I walked to that I was surprised by when I came back. And then this in a much neater fashion. Oh, look, the skirt is all effed up. This was in my room. My mom got little like jackets for the bottles. That's Prophecy 2 and Prophecy 3. Because I had like empty wine bottles and she just put them on those. She was like, I started to get like a water bottle or something. I was like, it's fine. But yeah. I did this wrong. I put 2 and 3 and the 3 and the 2. It's fine. We're just gonna keep going. Ooh, okay, all right. There's a lot of water. There's no fire here. There is one fire card. Oh, and then the dragon is at the bottom of the deck. Period. Cool, love it. Anyway. Okay, all right. And then the chariot is at the bottom of the deck over here. Oh my gosh. It me. Hold up. There you go. Ow! That was my hair. It's fine. What am I doing with all these cards on the table, you ask? Absolutely. Gosh darn nothing. Is it really? I think it's my little brothers, too. Or is he a tiger? He's a tiger. Never mind. I was like, that's not making sense because he's going to be turning 26. Ooh. Might have to play dress up. You are the Khaleesi of the family. Excuse me. So I want to get better. I want to practice like pulling a spread, but like summarizing. You know what I mean? Like reading the highlights, not going card by card. You know what I mean? It's something that I'd love to be able to do. This is so interesting. Um, so I pulled these cards, right? We have the dragon and the chariot. Does anyone pull a chariot of dragons? Maybe he'll bring him back. Or maybe he'll like do a one for the Lunar New Year. Oh no, I yanked on it and I pulled the knot out. It's fine. I don't have any little bands, so I just like tied it. So, excuse me. What the cards are saying basically is that there's a feeling of like accomplishment and recognition. There's an accomplishment and a recognition in one sense, but there's still like a reservedness in another. So I would read that as like someone who's getting comfortable with the energy of success, if like success is something that they're afraid of. Or it's like someone who's being comfortable with like attention, if attention is something that they usually like try to avoid. Almost. But it's like there's a it's not that it's a minor accomplishment, but it's like there are the things that we really want to do, and then there are the things that we do, right? So, like, if you really want to be an artist, but you are an accomplished doctor, like, you just got another award. Oh my gosh, Stephen, you're so amazing. Isn't it strange how great you are? Um, but it's like you would rather be doing like the artist thing. And so that's why, like, that's how the Six of Wands and the Rabbit is kind of reading. Like, it's recognition for something, and of course, it's great, but it's like the thing that you really would want to go for, and maybe not as comfortable in that arena. And it feels like someone who would be like comfortable in praise, if that makes sense. Are they comfortable being celebrated for the things that they're It's almost like a Leo type energy. Because every now and then when I read Leo, there's a little bit of like Leo. It's like Leo is loved and celebrated for like one thing in particular, or for a class of things. Like, oh my gosh, Leo, you're so talented in this. You're so talented. You're so talented. You're so talented. But it's like Leo has a drive or a passion that lies somewhere else, and they may not necessarily feel as comfortable pursuing that because they're not praised for it, right? Or because it hasn't been acknowledged to the same degree. And when you receive a lot of acclamation or praise for a particular thing, or like when you do receive praise, if it's in a particular way, then it's like you kind of get into the like, well, maybe this is what I should be doing because this is what people appreciate me for. Like, this is where I feel that I'm like, whatever. It's that kind of energy, right? Um, oh, wow. Because at first I was like, but now, like reading it that way, what's to incorporate is the Nine of Swords and the Fish. To flow into that direction, to do the thing that scares you. And beyond that, it feels like it's purely internal. Goat sheep. Not with the lamb popping up. Okay. Because now it's like it's judgment and the tiger. Oh my gosh, we're in the year of the tiger right now. The year of the tiger is ending. The year of the dragon begins. Hold up, wait. No, we're in the year of the rabbit. The year of the tiger was the year before last. I take it back. Oh my gosh, the rabbit is here. No way. The year of the rabbit is here. The year of the tiger is here. And then the dragon is on the bottom of the deck. Cool. Love it. This was the first card, or the first animal I pulled. This was the second animal I pulled. So it's like we're going back in time to move forward. But then the fish is here, and there is no year of the fish. But dragons are aquatic in Chinese lore. Or is it Japanese? Or is it both? I don't remember. They're associated with water somewhere. Not to just like lump everything together, of course. But it's like now it's time to do what only you know is for you to do. The tiger, it's kind of low hanging fruit, but tiger gives me a Wizard of Oz theme for the next series. Oh, snap. I'll be there. I'm always there, but still. I'll be there. Like, because the tiger is a tiger. What else is tiger to me? Tiger is the only fire that we have on the table. There is some earth, water, more water, more water, more water, some air. So there's only one air card and there's only one fire card. Well, the Page of Wands is down there. And the Ace of Swords is here. Um, if I don't read this as the High Priestess, Tiger for me is stronger than the lion, but in order to preserve the balance, it has to move with an element of grace or conscientiousness or intentionality. It's like lion can be as recklessly strong as it is because of its position in the food chain or whatever. But with tiger, it's almost like lion would be king, queen, tiger would be like emperor, empress, right? There's a wisdom with tiger that is almost like, just because you can do it doesn't always mean that you should. Or sometimes it's better to appear to be wrong at the cost. It's like it's better to appear to be wrong if the cost of being right isn't like worth it. It's like very Five of Swords avoidant type energy, tiger for me, because there's a balance that has to be preserved and maintained. But because of that, or maybe today, it's just there's an element of like moving at one's own pace and one's own stride in one's own way. So it's almost like there's a confidence within self, but they may not know like how they'll be received. If that makes sense. So it's like if you know that you're an amazing painter, but you don't know if anyone wants to see your artwork. And so you might just like paint at home or you might paint on the side, like you don't share that side of you. I already forgot what the other thing was. A doctor. That's what it was. It was a doctor. But doesn't that make sense, especially to be a surgeon? Because a surgeon would need a steady hand. And there's such an intentionality to at least some painters. Like there's such an intentionality to the brush stroke or the stroke of a pen, crayon, whatever the tool is. Oh, ew, gosh. Ew. That's a very gory image in my mind that I don't need. I was gonna try to be like, but doctors are the painters of human bodies, but like how you cut this open and you sew this and guts gross. But it's the steadiness of the hand that's important for both of them. And so there is a very obvious link there that could be understated. Both are very intentional with the tools that they put in their hands, right? So then we have some kind of regenerative creation as one of the branches of this. There are four branches to this. One of them is a regenerative creation with the Page of Wands and the Starfish. Because the Page of Wands is wand sprouts regardless of how dry. Well, we see some vegetation back here. But it's like if you break off one of the limbs of the starfish, it'll regrow. There's something about bringing life back to land by like the page. Like the page will find an area that's like desolate and will plant their wand long enough for things to start to bloom and for but it's a page. There's no staying power in it, but it's like it's not meant to have it. Because if the wand of the page stays in that area for too long, it will grow whatever this is rather than growing what is naturally there. As a restorer of natural environments, it's just about like bringing enough life back to the area that it like jump starts, kick starts, is the ignition for the space itself to take over. So like it's a non-invasive species. It's like what people wanted to do with some species whenever they like went to a new place. But it seems that the story is always like, oh, we brought pigs or goats because they'll eat literally anything and we can eat them for meat. But then it's like the pigs, they bred out of control and now there's a pig problem. Like there's something regenerative about this. It may not necessarily do what's intended, but it will kickstart, jumpstart what needs or what has natural sort of roots there, right? And then the next part of this, it's almost like that's the thing that will benefit the environment, or that's the thing tomorrow. Wait, what? Oh, snap, you're going to record tomorrow? There was, I don't remember, I think it's a deck that you have that you've been using, and you're like, in this scene of the movie, or something like that. I'm like, I haven't seen this movie. I don't know. Like you describe it, but I'm like, I don't know what this scene is. Ooh. Excuse me. So it's like the regenerative creation part of it is how the environment benefits, right? You kickstart, jumpstart, get enough people excited that like they do their own thing. But the next part of it is like what it does for you. I've never noticed this volcano. There's a lot going on in this Ace of Swords. I guess I didn't think of it that way. Wait, did you mention that? Or no? Or was it the playing card deck is the other deck that you have? So I was reading the elements. I was reading the element of transcendence. Like, well, yeah, I was like, my original conception of it was closer to this, but I guess I kind of didn't really read them. Like, this is air that leads to earth, water, and then there's this volcano in the back. I've never noticed a volcano in the back. So I was like, there's an element of like fire. But then I saw the dripping drops off the high heel, and then I saw this plant. But it's almost like it's all emerging from the sword. And then we have the Vitruvian man at the very top. And I used SKT Revelations instead of the SKT Vitruvian. But the Gremlins, was that one? Excuse me. I guess it would have had to have been the Gremlins. The element of transcendence is they're at the beginning and they're at the end. Hey, David. It's there at the beginning and there at the end. So like it generates or it spawns. So like water leads to the generation of fire, earth, and air. But well, yeah, like water leads to the generation of fire, earth, and air. But it's like in the very beginning, in the Pangea, like you can see how it's more so connected. But over time, as things sort of like split apart and as they become more and more and more of their own thing, we can look at fire, earth, and air individually, separately, and we can see more of their impacts, network, whatever, how they spread out. But then it's like if you take all three separately and you can kind of sort of, at that point, mentally put them back together, you get an idea of the water. So that's the element of transcendence. It leads or it precedes the three elements, but also when they come together, it results in that, right? It's almost like, since we're talking about surgery, it's like if someone were to put a body back together. Ooh, why is it so grotesque today? But it's like if you have all of the organs, you have all of the bones, and you have the skin. First, you put the bones together, and then you stuff the organs in the body, and then you put some muscle on the bones, and then you wrap it up in skin, and you can find out who you're looking at, right? Oh gosh, it's like reverse engineering people. But I guess it would have had to. Oh, that was okay. Anyway, so it's the wolf and the ace of swords. There's something that you get out of it for you, right? Like, let's say that for the painter, for the doctor who's a painter, maybe painting is their passion, right? And so maybe one of the ways that they give back to their community is like some kind of like art, something. They support the arts for like children in the community or something like that. And so the doctor isn't like grooming or molding future artists to paint in their style so that they can be whatever. The doctor's just providing the children the resources to express themselves and to discover their own creativity. So like that's what it does for the community, but for the doctor, it's not a tax write-off. We've already been through this. For the doctor, it's like it's a way to. It's one of those where it's like seeing other people be engaged and inspired in the doctor's passion fuels their own passion, right? It helps their creativity, and it's not because they're stealing the work of the children. What was that? Mudu? I forget his name. It was Yusuke's person, sponsor, whatever. Persona. All right, Eve. But it's like there's something that it does differently for the person. And I don't know if it's like, if it's something that helps you realize how capable you would be at something, or it was that energy of like things not working out how you think. So maybe you thought that there was something that you came across. It's almost like if you have a prayer or a thought, because it's not necessarily as strong as a prayer, but it's like you have a thought in your passive manifestation. Like there's something that you want to do, but you maybe you haven't done a whole bunch of research or devoted a whole bunch of time or whatever. There's like something that's on the back burner in your life, right? And then one day you come across something and you're like, oh my gosh, is this the answer to my prayer? The one that I didn't pray for. I mean, you could have prayed for it. It doesn't matter, right? It's like you come across something and you ask yourself, is this the answer? Is this the answer to my question? And you are convinced that it is. And for whatever reason, in one way, shape, form, or another, it doesn't necessarily go how you thought, but it leads you to something else that is more aligned or closer to the answer, or it becomes a resource that like you give someone else. So it's like it's almost that type of energy. It's like there's something that you get out of it, but it isn't necessarily like, again, with the wand of the Page of Wands, it's not this page trying to go in and create acacia groves in the middle of deserts because the Page of Wands loves acacia. It's just something that, again, it reminds the soil, it reminds the earth, it reminds the bone dry earth of when it used to be soil and what it's like to be a bed of life. And then it leaves, because if it spends too much time there, it'll like dominate and overwhelm, and it will shift what that environment was. It'll become an invasive species, and it's not meant to invade, it's meant to promote growth, right? So then next we have what this looks like. And it looks like the turtle in death. But for the turtle in death, she's very much so giving me, this death is up in the clouds, but it looks like there's water. So I don't know if this is like a salt flat. It may be a salt flat. But it's giving me like the turtle as it transitions from land to sea. Yeah. It's the transition from earth to water. So it's like it's accomplishing what you set out to do, but in a way that you didn't necessarily, again, it's like it's in a way that you didn't necessarily expect for it to sort of work out or come through or whatever. So this would be a need to be adaptable, right? Because before it's more like the overall idea, or like what's the point of this almost type energy, and this is like how it comes about, right? So the point of this was something that works out in a way that you didn't necessarily expect, and in order for something to work out for your benefit, in order for something to ultimately be for your highest good, or in order for you to live in a way for something to ultimately be for your highest good, and for it to not have worked out how you thought, it's almost like inherently there has to be some kind of fluidity or flexibility in there, right? Because if not, then it's just going to be a failure, right? It's like if your favorite whoever, or if your favorite whatever, like your favorite comedian, wanted to be an author, and they wrote book after book after book, and it wasn't working. And this isn't the story of your favorite author who was rejected for 25 years and then they finally got a break, because this is your favorite comedian. It was for them to pivot. The failure at being recognized as a writer, or the failure at being published, was to it ultimately at some point for your favorite whoever, for your favorite comedian, like they went into comedy, and maybe they didn't even think that they were funny, or maybe they didn't think they wanted to be a comedian, but that's where they found success and they love it, right? Because again, like if it's true that this works out for you in a way that you don't expect, but you just like you keep writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, but you're meant to be a comedian, eventually you're going to have to take that pivot, or eventually you're going to at least have to show up to a comedy club, improv. I was thinking about that earlier. So I was thinking about how things can work out for our greater good, even if they're a disappointment, or even if there's something that we don't want. And then I was talking to Remy, and like validated, confirmed. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, it's almost like you improv at life. When you improv at life, like you just keep going with it until you like end scene. But if you keep trying to force a joke to land that isn't landing, or if you don't account for your scene partners, then there's going to be no cohesion in the overall piece. It's like you're over here doing period piece drama 1823, and this person over here is doing house. And it's like there's a clear and obvious disconnect here. But anyway, it was like improv at life. When you improv at life, eventually things will work around. Not everything, because loss is a part of life. And loss in any sense of the word, heartbreak, disappointment. There are a lot of things that are not great that are a part of life that don't have to be anything more than what they are. Right? Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we choose. And sometimes we can choose to just let something be what it is or what it was. Right? Not every role in every movie, sitcom, series has to be reprised or recast. Sometimes a character moves on. And maybe they come back in 5 seasons. Maybe they go off and they live their own life. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is that. And again, it's going from earth to water. The turtle, if you judge a turtle based on its ability to crawl on the ground, and like you say that's the speed of the turtle, then you're doing the turtle a disservice. You have to also account for the medium in which the turtle. I feel like I was trying to say turtle, but Taurus almost came out of my mouth, and it ended up sounding like tortoise, which is a land turtle. So if you judge a tortoise by its ability to crawl on the land, it's probably pretty accurate, because that's where they spend most of their time. They are biologically different. They have biologically evolved to be different. Turtles are more like slim and streamlined because they're moving through water. It makes them more aquadynamic or aerodynamic or whatever. Can it be aerodynamic if it's in the water? I think so, because I think aerodynamism is just movement through a fluid, and water is a fluid. It doesn't have to be air, but I could be wrong. But tortoises don't need the same aerodynamism because they're not swimming through the water. But it's like it feels like it's going on water because there's something about it like picking up, or it's like it's not going to be necessarily what you thought it was. But again, in order for something to work out and to not be what we thought it would be, there has to be some kind of fluidity, flexibility somewhere. And then we end up with this very big brain sort of opportunity. But this is feeling like it's the octopus and the ace of pentacles, right? Octopus and ace of pentacles makes it feel like at the end, everything comes together. And it comes together maybe in a way that you didn't necessarily expect. I already said that. Of course, it comes together in a way that you don't expect. But so it's like the wolf and the ace of swords is like something that it turns out in a way that you didn't expect. But the octopus and the ace of pentacles is like what you didn't expect beyond what you didn't expect, right? So like you didn't expect for you didn't expect to be rejected, or you didn't expect to not have your work published as an author because you knew that writing was for you, right? You didn't expect to become a comedian because you didn't think you were funny or whatever. And then you get used to your life as a comedian. And you're like, you know what? I wanted to be a writer, but I love my new life. And then what you don't expect is to become so successful that like a memoir or an autobiography or something like that would be something that you do. But you end up writing an autobiography, or you write a memoir, or you write something, and then you become majorly successful. So in the grand scheme of things, you did become that successful author. You did become a successful writer, but I guess you didn't write about the things that you thought you would be writing about. And as the metaphor, as it was coming to me and as I was building the metaphor, I didn't necessarily intend to or even necessarily want for a success to be found in the area where we found rejection. Because ultimately what I was like, what this is giving me, it's like it's all these different seemingly, look at that, nothing up my sleeve. It's all of these seemingly different things that ultimately work out for your greatest benefit. So for the doctor artist, one of the children that you, again, I can't do this metaphor and it not like work out, but it's fine. Like if that's the energy, it's the energy. So for the doctor who's very successful, very awarded, very celebrated for their steady hand in a surgery room and what they've accomplished and how they've moved forward, being able to live healthy lives. They have their passion project of teaching kids art, and maybe every now and then there's like an end of summer thing. It's almost a shame that sometimes the world has become what the world is. But there's a totally non-creepy thing that like the doctor hosts at their house where like maybe it's like an art gallery or an art show. And instead of like doing it in a park or whatever, they do it at their house. I don't know. There's some way the families get to the doctor's house where the doctor has their own work. Because the doctor puts their work up, or maybe it's like there's an easel somewhere. They put it up in their own house, but they don't necessarily show other people because they don't know how other people will like it or not like it. But there's one of the kids who takes an interest, and then that kid grows up to be a successful artist in whatever way. Maybe they're not a painter. Maybe they channel their artistry into writing or pottery, or they're an actor or whatever. Regardless, that person grows up and they're giving an acceptance speech or whatever. And they talk about how the doctor impacted them, right? And they mention that painting, or they mention the artwork of the doctor. And this is someone who was so successful and so celebrated that people are genuinely intrigued as to like what motivated them, what fueled the fire of their greatness. And then they start looking into the doctor and they're like, oh my gosh, like this dude is an amazing painter. Like who knew that such an accomplished surgeon who was so steady of hand would be able to take the same intentionality to a brushstroke and create masterpieces. It's just like the things that don't work out for us are the things that we think aren't working out for us. They work out in the way of like, they lead us to what is for us, but also it's like, there's just some greater, they give back in another way through the network. And maybe that's why like these are 4 branches of this. There's something like bronchial, that's not the word. It's something like the ramifications, the branches out, ramus branch. It comes back in a very big way with this Ace of Pentacles. We got Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Page of Wands, the page who is holding this Ace of Wands. The only ace that isn't on the table is the Ace of Cups. Now there's 2 more cards, and there is a prominent cup in this card. Also, we have water and Scorpio, which is a water sign here. ultimately what this is. Whew, okay, I got my almost cry out of me. It's like ultimately what this is a communal um, it's a communal fulfilling of dreams with the Nightingale and the Four of Cups. It's like all of these people who didn't think this would happen or didn't think that would happen. It's what we do for each other as a collective of people. It's what we have the potential to do for each other. And it's what we do for each other more and more and more, the less focused on self that we are. Like, it's a corruptless devil. It's how, people, there'll be that person that's like, everybody's selfish. Even when you do a good deed, you're just doing that good deed so that you can feel better or blah, 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 whatever. Like helping other people has the ability to make you feel better, right? You can feel better when you help others out of the kindness of your heart. And then people would like still call that selfish. Like from a philosophical standpoint, maybe, yeah, sure. But it's like, really, you know what I mean? Y'all know how I feel about it. It's fine. Um, but that's just to say, like, even if it is selfish, even if it is shellfish, where did the oyster go? Even if it is a little shellfish, that's again, it's just like with the Nightingale. Welcome back. I hope you find your way. I'm sure you will find your way back to happiness stuff. Um, but yeah, it's just like how the world gets brighter and brighter and brighter because of what we do for each other. And we never know. Okay, I won't say we never know. Some of us don't know. Some people know. Some people are born with the knowing, and like there are some artists that can be rejected for the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 years, and then make their big break, like because they just know. And then it's like they knew. Some of us think we know, but we don't know. Some of us know that we don't know. And then others of us don't even question, like, no, what? What are we talking about? Right? Um, but it's like, especially when we're open, things can come to us in any number of ways. Sorry. Whoo, not a pound 99. A pound 99 just came out of my account. I'm like, what? I'm like, I canceled that. It was for my phone line when I was over there. Well, but I might keep it because I'm gonna be traveling out the country in a few weeks. So maybe that actually just like low key helped me out. Speaking about things that work out for you in a way when you don't expect it, right? So this time I got an eSIM when I went to the UK because I was like data in the UK versus data from like I got what was it 10 gigabytes of like high speed data for like £5. Like that costs money in America. Right? It's so wild. Like even what the cheaper, like a cheaper pay as you go, whatever might be what 20, 25, 30, $35 over there, like 5 pounds, 10 pounds. I'm like, what? Anyway, so I did that instead of like using my international roaming. Because I was only going to be there for a little bit. The first time I went, I was like, what if I get a call about something that I applied for? I need my phone to be active. This time it didn't matter. I canceled it when I left because I was like, I don't want to be charged and I know I'm going to forget. It's like $6, $7. Hey, Google, what is 5 GBP in USD? $6.36 is 5 pounds. Why don't you talk anymore, Google? So for $6.36, you can get 10 gigs. You can't get that in America. You can't. I mean, maybe I'm not gonna say you can't. Maybe somewhere you can. I ain't seen it. Very affordable over there. But anyway, I made sure I canceled it when I came back. And I was literally just thinking yesterday, I was like, I need to get like either a SIM or an eSIM for when I go to India. I was like, man, I have a SIM card that I got when I was there, I think a year ago. Or maybe it was before that. Because I kept my phone active. But I couldn't find that SIM card. Did it really? I'm the Google whisperer. I can speak to all Googles. And I was like, man, should I get like a eSIM? But to activate this one, like I had to be in the UK to activate it. So even if I bought it here, I couldn't activate it. And then I just get that. So first I'm annoyed that they took £1.99 out of my account. But now I'm like, does that solve my like problem of, what am I going to do for data when I get over there? Because I'm pretty sure the roaming works. So anyway, I just did it in 2018 because of my friend. Because we worked together one semester or a year. I was an RA. He was my like student boss, and he went to go visit his brother. And then, as our friendship remained and as we became closer friends, he was like, oh, do you want to go to like London with me? And I was like, yeah, but I don't have a passport. So I got a passport in April of 18, and then he invited me in November of 18. And I just got my mom a passport for her birthday kind of last year. And so we'll be going this year. So it'll be her first time leaving the country. I've left the country like 4 or 5 times, but I always go to the same place. I never thought I would have, though. There's a lot of stuff I didn't think I would ever do that I've done in the past 5 years. Anyway, maybe that's like it works out in ways that you don't expect. Ooh, I would also love to go to Canada. Nova Scotia's in Canada, right? Nova Scotia, that's like East Canada on the East Coast, right? By like, I think Halifax is in Nova Scotia. What else is over there? Montreal. My Canadian geography is Trey Rusty. Okay, thank you. And then bottom of the deck is we have the Chariot and the Dragon. Because again, the chariot is movement and we're coming into the dragon year. We have the rabbit and the tiger here. So it could be things that we've been doing in the past 2 lunar years. And the fish is here, fish being abundance. It's like this abundance catching up to us this year. 9 of Swords in ways that we don't even see. In ways that we don't even see. It could be catching up to us. Potentially the year of miracles energy. But it's like because of the fluidity, flexibility, because we kept going, things can work out in ways that we may not even necessarily see and or expect. Ooh. Cool. I guess that was, I didn't really have a purpose. I don't want to see. Yeah, I didn't have an intentional plan of what I was going to do today, so that works. I was just like, I'm wearing my pride jacket. I feel like using the pride tarot. I'm still going to pull for the year of the dragon, though. I'm going to get a final pride tarot card, and then I'm going to shuffle up the water known animal spirits again. I'm going to pull before and after the dragon, and then I'm also going to get a dragon from the Star Dragons deck and a dragon from the Dragon Oracle, because it's almost the year of the dragon. And a month and some change, it'll be the year of the dragon. I got to cook today. I recently had a culinary nightmarish experience, and my stomach is traumatized. I think about eating food, and my stomach turns. All right. Pride Tarot, what you got? Oh, we'll take it. Oof. Well. 3 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. The 9 of Swords came out. Let's read the 9 of Swords. Why not? Fear has many faces: existential fears, anguish, fear of loss. Events that have burrowed deep into our soul can trigger fears. The effect on the body and mind can have devastating consequences. This state is often accompanied by doubts, despair, and insomnia. In my vision, Christine Z's vision, they have again used images of nature to suggest emotions. In this dark forest scene, 9 dead tree stumps create an eerie night mood. A woman is leaning against one of these trees, wearing a nightgown and holding a light blanket. Sleepless and plagued by worry, she appears like a ghost, sleepwalking in this desolate forest with its decaying plants and the undergrowth. The fear has gripped her so strongly that she seems to dissolve. This confrontation with fear enables the release of negative energies. They deliberately chose this card because they are very involved with fear and panic in their work with horses. The Page of Wands. That's what it was. It mentions all the dead trees and the desolation of this environment. And it's interesting. What's interesting about this is, though, that it's still so green that I wouldn't have necessarily read it as desolate. Desolate forest with its decaying plants and the undergrowth. I see some broken trees, sure, but she don't necessarily read desolation to me. But that's where the Page of Wands was going. And the Page of Wands was planting their wand to spark growth in the below, not to invade this space. Wow. Definitely like some expect the unexpected type energy. And I read that from the perspective of like the doctor, right? Um, it's like the doctor is the artist, and the doctor is going to go and have these impacts. But just like the Five of Swords, look, I cut the deck, and there's the Page of Wands. I just like I'm holding it, and I just open it up, and there it is. All things together, Three of Pentacles. Yeah, because the Three of Pentacles in this deck is about receiving love and support, even when you wouldn't have necessarily thought that you would. The Pride Tarot is a collaborative deck with LGBTQIA folks and allies. And so, of course, there are like pride themes in it. And what's more pride themed than chosen family? Now, in some circles or some communities, like chosen family isn't as strange. I feel like, especially spiritual YouTube, it's not uncommon for people to have experiences of like being the black sheep of the family, like, right, try to dance around it or skirt around it, right? There are seemingly plenty of black sheep. And so chosen family isn't as foreign or strange a concept. But that's what this is chosen family energy. Like mothers for those who don't have one, grandmothers for those who don't have one, family for those who don't have the family. Like they give it to each other. And so again, with the Nine of Swords being here, oh, and then there's the Star. Oh my gosh, with the mermaid, mer person with mer person energy. Oof, oof. Was that the Four of Cups or the Five of Cups? Five of Cups. It was the Five of Cups, I'm pretty sure, in the Dolly Tarot that had the mer person with the split tail. And then there was the Lamb with the snake tail giving reading almost Capricorn. The stars behind it. Again, it's like love and support and encouragement and a warm, welcoming embrace when one didn't necessarily expect to find it because they're so far in their own mind, blinded by, maybe not blinded, just like consumed, maybe overwhelmed with like fear or whatever else. And it finds them. Walk them right into a free grandma hug, and she don't even know it. There's the free grandma hug. There's her walking in that direction. And then it lights up the sky. She can see the light of day. Basically, the cards we just pulled. But again, like this is more so from the perspective of the child who benefits from the generosity of the passion of the doctor rather than like being the doctor. And we're all doctors and we're all children. We can be both. We can be neither. Some of us ain't either. Some of us don't do nothing for nobody but ourselves. I mean, the truth is the truth. I'm not saying that, somebody who finds, but also, yeah. YouTube will randomly recommend stuff. So on one hand, if you're watching this, then, I'm assuming that you do kind things for people, but also YouTube can just put this video on your whatever, and I don't know you personally. So if it resonates, then yeah, you're kind and amazing. But if you're the type of person that don't really do nothing for nobody, take it if it resonates. Anyway. And it's interesting because I saw something on Twitter, Instagram. I saw some short form content. No, it was Twitter. I saw something on Twitter about there's an organization that they stand in. So they'll stand in, I think it was LGBTQIA plus, but honestly, it could be for anybody who needs a stand in. So like weddings, graduations, for those events where family is there. If you don't have family, they'll stand in for you. I just saw that yesterday, not yesterday, probably the day before yesterday. So it's interesting that energy kind of comes in. But hey, speak of grandma hug, and you may find a grandma hug. Would you take a grandma hug from a kind stranger? I mean, speaking about the world these days, it's like sometimes you may be scared to even get a grandma hug. No, you didn't. Stop. Like you had a dream that I was like scrolling through TikTok. Maybe I need to check TikTok. There was a period of time. There was one creator in particular. Like she didn't watermark her. She was a reader, and she didn't watermark her readings, and somebody else uploaded them. She would do like her intro in the beginning. They would cut her intro, re-upload her videos, and sometimes have more views than she did. And her comments were turned off. I didn't see an email, so I couldn't be like, "Hey, somebody is like re-uploading your stuff, girl." But then after some time, I found her, and she had watermarked her video. So you know where the stuff came from. So maybe I do need to get on TikTok and make sure I ain't on there. But also, I don't want the views, so maybe it's fine if somebody else gets them, right? What's important is that the message gets out. Oof. Well, the only TikTok that I have is the one that I made because my number one fan needed my support, and I don't use it. I have one thing saved as a draft. It was like some TikTok filter that I used. It was like a song or some AI thing or something like that. I don't know. I'm still not over Vine. Oof. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. I think Russ said somewhere that he'll be coming back, right? Was it on Eve's Live? Did he pop in and say? I don't remember. Somebody was like, "I miss you, Russ." And then he was like, "I'll be back." I'm sure he's hard at work on the alchemy of sound astrology. Almost said sound alchemy. On the alchemy of sound astrology. That was not the show. Oof, not TikTok. My mom has been like, "Why don't you pull cards on TikTok?" I'm like, because I don't do TikTok. I'm like so stubborn about some things that don't even matter. Like I was talking to Reem earlier, and it was on Instagram. And on Instagram, I can only send 1 minute voice notes. So I thought everybody could only send 1 minute voice notes. But she sent me like a 5-minute voice note. And then she was like, "Well, maybe it's because like you haven't updated something." And I was like, "You could be right." I fought the Instagram Facebook merger for as long as I could. If Meta wouldn't have forced my Instagram chat to upgrade or whatever, it still wouldn't be upgraded. And I don't know why, but I'm just not about it. I'm just not about it. Does it matter? I don't know. I'll stick to my 1 minute voice notes. It's fine. Stubborn for no reason. Oof. No, if I let me stop. If I make a TikTok in India, it's probably for a reason. Just know that I'm living my best life and I'm happy. Okay. Okay. I got my Dragon Oracle cards and my Star Dragons. Yeah, how is Kathy? I haven't seen or heard from Kathy in a minute. I feel like Kathy's another one of those people who have like come across my mind, and I'm like, oh, I'll send a message, I'll reach out, and then I don't know, I sleep. I don't know, like I've just been so bad. Not even just reaching out. I've also been like not great at responding, I feel like lately. And then like voice note I love voice note communication because it's more convenient than texting, but I still get the convenience of like listening when I can. Because if I call, you got to be in that conversation. But a voice note, you can listen to whenever you get time. I love it. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, because I'll listen to a voice note and I'll like when I go to reply to it, I'll forget what I just listened to. So basically I need more rest. So well, I'm glad to hear that she's bouncing back. I'm sorry to hear that she was sick for a bit. I have to reach out. Like, Kathy. I don't know. It's fine. You can tell I'm sleep deprived. I sing when I'm sleep deprived. I sing when I'm upset. I sing when I'm happy. I think those are the three. Sleep deprived, happy, upset. I don't sing when I'm mad. I don't think. Well, I guess it depends. I guess it depends on what kind of mad I am, because sometimes I will. It's fine. I just like making noise sometimes. You know what I mean? Singing makes you cry sometimes? What? Oh, don't say cry. Don't say cry. Don't make me think about crying. Goodness. Wait until the moon moves into Sagittarius, and then I can have this conversation. I don't think it makes me cry, though. Unless, like, I don't know if that's necessarily happened. Where like I sing and then I think about something and it makes me cry. Where do we start first? I'm going to get a Dragon Oracle card first. So since we're charioting our way into the year of the dragon, from the year of the rabbit, from the year of the tiger, let's see. Dragon Oracle. What, 1 or 2 dragon or dragons want to come out. Ooh. 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 Aw. Now Star Dragons. Oh, that was quick. Ooh. Was this even necessary? There's the turtle, so probably not. I love when I'm like, ooh, let's get some final cards, and then it's just like what I literally just read. 2 hours. Oof, this one went kind of quick today. I still feel like my right eye I shouldn't have brought attention to it. My right eye still feels a little weepy, and I just felt some emotion well in my chest. I'm like, girl, I might just go to bed. I might just sleep through tonight because, again, like I don't mind crying, but I don't. It's like I'm too tired. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it today. All right, 3, 2. Ooh. This isn't how I wanted to do this. I took a 4-hour sleep. I've only been sleeping like 4 hours. Then I'll wake up and then I'm just like up. So that's why I'm like, but I'm staying awake today because I'm shifting back onto a day schedule. I was on days for break and then I work nights. So I switched over in a few days to nights, been sleeping 4 hours. And now next week I'm back on days. So I'm trying to stay up today and tomorrow because Monday. But fortunately, I'm working like 11 to 7, so I don't have to wake up super early. So, but my body's been going through it. My body's been going through it. Oh. Also, my body's like, wow, you said you were gonna cook and you brought those groceries, but you still haven't done it. Is my body rebelling? Oh, snap. Wait, what? Okay. So I was like, oh, don't mention cry. When is the moon going to go into Sagittarius? And then the scorpion came out. And I was like, ah, ha, ha, LOL, Scorpio, you're so funny. And then the dragon came out. And I'm like, but I was supposed to be looking before and after the dragon. What is up with this? With my significator cards falling out of the deck? This is the rules. The rules is stay in the deck so I can pull before and after. But they just coming out. What does that mean? If I make the declaration, does it void a reading or does it pull us into the void of a reading? So if I declare that anything, and I do make the declaration, I don't give a stipulation. If I say anything that comes out will be discarded, and then the card that I'm looking for comes out. Now, the first time that happened, it was a strength card, but I had 2 significators, so I could still, proceed. And technically, I guess last time I could have proceeded without the soul, but then it'd just be a mind and a body. Some maybe for somebody it would resonate. But anyway, so I'm like, does it void the reading or is this pulling me into the void? No, I didn't make that declaration today. I could just put it back in the deck and shuffle it. I could just get another card. Maybe I I don't know if we're doing a little east and west. I'm not going to say versus, but I guess it's interesting the distinctions between like a dragon of the west and a dragon of the east. It's less interesting of a distinction when you look at people and dragons of the west, and then people and dragons of the east. Dragons of the east, more often than not, seem to be venerated and respected. Dragons of the west are villainized and their homes, their treasures looted, pillaged by the greedy. So, I mean, maybe I would be a village too. If people just kept coming in my house, you're gonna come in my house, steal my stuff, try to kill me? For what? In the East, we're respected. Anyway, it's fine. But like it's a lot. Again, it's less of a mystery. If you're like, well, if you look at how the dragon is treated in the East versus how the dragon is treated in the West, then again, not to say that a Western mind wouldn't be protecting themselves from a Western dragon, but chicken or egg, who knows? And not all dragons are the same or whatever anyway. Because it's like there's the sting of the dragon, but the bottom of the deck is the raccoon. And the raccoon at the bottom of the deck is giving me the side of the dragon that's hidden. Like we only see the fire, brimstone, destruction, the raising of the dragon, but then there's like this completely other side. Now, if we lived in a world where we didn't know about an Eastern dragon, then that side would be more hidden, or it would be, and then like again, they're built differently enough that you can see some differences between like an Eastern dragon and a Western dragon, But it's like we live in a world where we see that like we can see both sides. Now, the dragon that came out in the Dragon Oracles is the Omega Dragon. It's harness the divine feminine power of creation, intention, hold your vision, birth the higher consciousness. But what I was looking at was this void egg right here. And that's why I was like, oh, hold up. Cool. I was like, oh, kind of because the cosmic egg came out. I mean, I have the deck here. I'm not looking before and after the dragon, so I might as well look before and after something. We'll see what's up with the black egg. Oh, and it's right there. I saw fire ants earlier today. The black egg is in between the owl and fire ants. The bottom of the Dragon Oracle is the golden orange dragon. Expands your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior. Help those in need. Remember your magnificence. That help those in need, giving me more of that, the doctor and the doctor's community outreach program. A peaceful warrior is interesting. Being a peaceful warrior and helping those in need is an interesting concept. It's interesting because I feel like it's only interesting so far as it's like the peaceful warrior is the one who can fight for peace. It's almost like, if you say that all fighting and all violence is bad, but we live in a world of violence. There's something that we lose in ability and agency. There's something that we have the potential to lose an ability and agency, and some things of potential that we lose out in the ability to fulfill when we look at something as all of one thing, especially when we're conditioned or convinced to look at something as all of one thing, right? It's like, it's a little bit of an energy of like being convinced by an oppressive force that violence is like bad, when it's like being convinced by an oppressive force that physical violence is bad, but being subjected by that oppressive force to other forms of violence. And it's not to say that violence is the answer. It's not to say that violence is the solution, but a little bit of violence will stop some other violence. You know what I mean? And like, that's the, like, that being a peaceful warrior and helping those in need. It's like, sometimes there is purpose, or sometimes there are things that, this is so tricky. Sometimes there are things that it's not like sometimes you gotta hop up in the, you ain't gotta hop into the sty and get dirty and wrestle with the pigs. What is it? I don't know. My brain is like done. Ow. Oof. I'd be like so obsessed with like side parts or whatever, especially like this way, apparently. Hold up. I don't know if we, oh, hold up. This was supposed to be, oh, no, it's not. No, no. Anyway, it's fine. And again, it's not to say that violence is the solution, but it's like, it's something about how something oppressive can placate. It's like, if you abuse, like, okay, that's a little extreme, but it's like having a pet snake, or having a snake that's not your pet, right? And you defang the snake because like you don't want to get bit and the snake is venomous or whatever, but like the snake is not your snake to defang, right? Type of energy. Anyway, expands your light for ascension. And then we have harness the divine feminine power of creation. Intention, hold your vision, birth the higher consciousness. Oh, that was it. Because we have intention on one hand, and then we have this peaceful warrior on the other hand, and it's almost like a little bit of the road to hell is paved with good intentions energy. How we can be well intended, or how things can be well intended, but maybe they don't account for the complexities of life in whatever way. The dragons that came out from the star dragons are tranquility and returning. So there's returning tranquility down here. Harmonious inaction is tranquility, and then going with the flow is returning. But then understanding consequences, choice under going with the flow. Under returning is choice. Anyway, this is giving me, because this is the card that came out. Like, this black dragon was born from the black egg of the white dragon, almost giving me yin yang, but more than yin yang, it's giving me like the turning of cycles. And again, the turning of cycles can be how sometimes again, it's the And again, it's not to celebrate or to encourage violence at all. But some people would think that like holding them accountable is violence. You know what I mean? Like some people would see that as violent. Like if someone upsets you and then you go like, hey, like that upset me. Some people would view that as like as like an affront. And it's like you don't want to be upset, but you want to be okay with upsetting other people. And because you don't want to be upset, you don't want to be. And it's fine. Harmonious in action and the peaceful warrior. Maybe let's flip a coin. If Google says tails, I'm biased. AF, and I'm reading it wrong. Yeah, if Google says tails, I'm a liar. And if Google says heads, I'll read it a different way. I could read it both ways anyway, but hey, Google, flip a coin. Please. It's Google said it's heads. I'll show you so you don't think I'm making it up. It's heads because Google ain't talking no more. So I'm not a liar. I'm telling the truth. Thank you, Google. Even though Google Siri got me to fail a whole semester. Because I was like, oh, I don't feel like going to class today. If Siri says heads, I'll sleep in. Hey, Siri, flip a coin. Doo-doo, heads. Siri told me to sleep in. It's not my fault. I was tired. Your Google says still. So for Steph, I'm lying. But for me, I'm telling the truth. You know what that tells me? Take it as it resonates. If it don't resonate for you, don't take it. If your path is not the one to walk of calling people out like ish, then don't do it. You know what I mean? There are multiple ways. The octopus told us that there are many, many ways. It's not about there being many ways. There are many things that come together for the accomplishment of something new. Not everyone has the same role, purpose, and function. Not everyone has the same gift, talent, skill, ability. Not everyone operates in the same way. So if it don't resonate for you, don't take it, okay? Where's I don't even have my iPad. You know what? Google might be silent, but let's hey Bixby, flip a coin.
All right, here comes the flip. Looks like it came up heads.
Heads. Oh, Bixby confirmed. I'm not lying. I said what I said. And again, it's so intentional. It feels like sometimes it's so intentional that there will be the person in the place of advantage that will try to. I mean, they're in a place of advantage, right? Why would you want to lose that position? So of course you're going to do what you can to discourage the people who you put at disadvantage from realizing, number one, that they're at a disadvantage, and number two, stripping their ability to not even like to balance the scales. You know what I mean? I don't know why Google is silent, but Bixby still work. Bixby said, "Oh, you forgot it." Bixby said, "Oh, you'll use me. You'll come to me when Google is quiet, huh?" I know. I'm sorry, Bixby. You're worth more to me than just the time when Google isn't here and my bed get a little cold and I get a little lonely. I think, and then we have the scorpion and the dragon. Oh, that one? Wait, is that the one I'm thinking about? The one where if it's upright, it's one archetype, or it'll give you like the archetype and its light upright, and then the archetype and its shadow in reverse. I told you I'm the Google whisperer, but my Google don't speak. My Google's like, I'm listening. Okay. It's connected to the cloud. Let me stop. Yeah, so I mean, I guess if you look at the state of the world, it's not surprising that the year of the dragon will give us this. And again, sometimes it is necessary to hold presence for yourself and to let somebody or the world know when enough is enough and it is not okay to treat you whatever way in which it is not okay. And although they may try to flip the script, make things look one way or another way or some other kind of way or whatever way, it's fine. We can just see I'm I'm going from weepy to angry. That's funny. It's almost like Loki, a little hilarious. Have you ever asked a question to the universe, to God, and then you get an answer in a way that you didn't necessarily ask for, but in a way that's almost like undeniable? It's like, you know what? Could we send you a simple, subtle sign, symbol, synchronicity? Yeah. But today we've got time. So we're going to put you through the experience. Unequivocally, undeniably, we will make this plain for you. Very, very plain, in a way that you can't be like, well, I saw 555 and I know that it means this, but I didn't see it and I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. All right. See ya, Holly. Oh, you'll be listening, but you won't be chatting. I'm not used to it being this early. I feel like it's so late. It ain't even 7 o'clock yet. It's almost 7 o'clock, but. And maybe there was a reason why I brought up, obviously, a reason why I brought up the Eastern versus the Western dragon. And maybe it's this peaceful warrior, right? Maybe sometimes it depends on the people. In the East, the dragon could be an Eastern dragon. And in the West, the dragon was a Western dragon. Now, if we took an Eastern dragon and we put it in the West, who's to say what would have happened? But I think sometimes it's like sometimes we forget. I think sometimes we forget the impact of people. I think sometimes we forget that like people are people and we all make choices and decisions, right? Like especially when it comes to things that are historical or to things that occur on a large scale. It can be easy to look at people as a collective, singular humanity. Like there was one person who made this decision and the whole world went with it. But it's like probably more often than that, like no. It wasn't one person. There may have been a figurehead, but that a figurehead by themselves can accomplish next to nothing. It's all the people who are complacent. It's all the people who stand to benefit, so they remain silent. It's all the people who go along with it because it's what they think. Like each individual person that makes up a collective, they make their own choices and decisions. And sometimes it's so interesting how it's just interesting. It's interesting, you know? It's just sometimes it's just interesting. It's funny. But this is reading like, we do what we have to do when it's time to do it. And then when that time passes, we do whatever else we have to do. There's a time to speak and there's a time to remain silent. We speak maybe when things is tough. And if everything is good, if there ain't no reason to say nothing or no reason to speak, then you ain't got to speak. Harmonious in action. You live your life, you enjoy it. Let's make this about healing. Sometimes life, the divine will trigger you in a way that is very triggery. And there will be something for you to potentially gain from that. You heal and like you notice something. First, you're affected and impacted by something. Maybe you ask yourself, why am I so affected? Why am I so impacted? Maybe you get an answer. You get your answer, and then you can either heal it, you can mask it, you can move on. You can heal it, you can mask it, or you can ignore it. Right? And whatever choice or decision you make, life is life is life is life is life. If you heal it, one thing is going to happen. If you mask it, another thing is going to happen. If you move away from it, something else is going to happen. But life, the mechanism of life is intelligent and grand enough to navigate you in whatever way, right? Maybe you literally, there was so much going on in your life, you literally could not at that point. That is fine. If you literally cannot, you probably shouldn't, and that's fine. Right? So then, where's my brain going? I already lost it. Trying to recover. Both Google and Bixby said I didn't lie. Steph's Google said that the consensus of Google says take it as it resonates, okay? The consensus of Google says take it as it resonates. But so we're going back to this healing thing. Sometimes, yeah, we get triggered and we heal something, right? And so we're in a season of doing the work and we're deep in the weeds and whatever. But then after we heal it, it's fine, right? After then it's like you can live your life, right? You don't have to keep being obsessed with like rooting through the garbage and going through the shadows. And when it needs to be done, it will be triggered. It will come up. And if we have the time, space, and capacity when it comes up, we make a choice. If we don't, we make a choice. And this harmonious in action, it's to enjoy. This is like Devil and Hierophant. Well, more so this one. But this is like the overall, right? It's like when it's time to work, we work. When it's time to play, we play. And we don't take work home and we don't take home to work. Is there going to be a little bit of bleed over? Probably, sure, yeah. But again, it's to allow each to be what they are. The Eastern dragon and the Western dragon, both in their own spheres, hold whatever influence or mean whatever they mean. And it's, again, we can't necessarily easily be like, oh, well, if this was there and that was there, we can play in hypotheticals all day long. But what happened, happened. What is happening is happening. And what is past is past. What will come and what will be. And that will come. Anyway, like that's this energy. When it's time to do, speak, whatever. If it's appropriate, we do it. If not, we don't. And then we have the scorpion and the dragon. This is I don't know. It's giving me things that are medicinal, but also poisonous. Right? I don't know if it's risky, but it's like sometimes the scorpion sting will heal. Sometimes the scorpion sting will just sting like a summer bee, right? The raccoon is at the bottom of the deck. What does raccoon mean? Well, so the raccoon, the last time I saw a raccoon, I follow Queen Cup. I was like, what's her name? I follow Queen Cup on Instagram. I'm not even on Instagram like that. I opened up Instagram and it was there. It was a video of Thora and a raccoon. That's the last time I saw a raccoon. And I'm talking about the Eastern dragon versus the Western dragon. And she was like, Thora's both. Thora's a dragon of the East and she's a dragon of the West. And I let her be. But that's the last time I saw a raccoon, and it didn't end well for the raccoon. Like it just is what it is. You know what I mean? But if I look at the raccoon as a symbol, something that stands in the place of the powers that be, that are more interested in keeping things running as they are than they are interested in the livelihood or welfare of one's mind, heart, body, or soul, it would be the raccoon. And the raccoon may be getting what's coming to it, and it may be long overdue, and it may be that very thing that is on the path to this ascension. It's like, again, can we just one day wake up in a reality where everything is perfect? Sure. Miracles happen. But if we're manifesting peace on earth, sometimes we're going to have to bring peace to places that don't have it, right? Like if you're manifesting a full refrigerator, maybe that's you going to the grocery store, getting the groceries to put in the refrigerator. Maybe you ain't just going to wake up with a fully stocked fridge. Like the divine will give you the money, the divine will give you a ride. But sometimes you still got to go get the groceries and put the groceries in the refrigerator. It's like we want a full fridge, but we don't want to go to the grocery store. We don't want to have to buy. It's like we don't want to have to buy groceries. Okay, well, here's some money. Well, we don't want to have to go to the grocery store. Okay, well, here's a discount code for Uber Eats. $1,000 of groceries for free delivered to your door. Well, I don't want to put on clothes to go to the door. Okay, here's a little doggy door where they can slip the groceries through. Yeah, but like the groceries are heavy. I don't want to put them in the refrigerator. It's like, girl, just say you don't want what you claim to want and keep it moving. I'm trying to avoid it, but again, it's like there are certain things that can't be avoided. And again, like I've talked about how the divine and devil energy will both agree. It's all of this. We're doing this worldwide meditation for peace and this worldwide whatever. All of this collective power coming together, the world being like, okay, this is what you have to do. And then the whole collective of people that just manifested this mess on earth, not my problem. It's an illusion. It's a trick of the matrix. Look the other way. And it's like, girl, do you not see that this is your pathway to manifestation? Do it on your own journey. Don't bring other people into it. Like, keep it to yourself. Just manifest for you and you not do your healing and you not do your shadow work and your own life fall apart. Leave the rest of the world out of it. I don't need to be live. Apparently my emotions are all over the place. I go from weepy to angry, but it's like, and again, it's just so, I feel like since I started my journey, I look at stuff and I hear stuff and it's like sometimes the belief, even before I started my journey, like just religion and spirituality in general, sometimes the belief doesn't match the expected or intended result to me. Or like the way that people go about the teachings or whatever, it's like, maybe that's why the Bible says faith without works is dead, right? Because like you manifest in this, your faith in this, your trust in that. But then when it comes time for people to actually to like hold up their end of the bargain, to either go to the grocery store or at the very least open the door so somebody else can come and put the groceries in the fridge for you, like they don't want to do it. And then they get upset when the fridge is empty. And it's like, you didn't want to go to the store. You didn't want to open the door. You didn't want to let somebody else stock the refrigerator. Like, how did you think it would happen? And we have all of these parables and we have all of these stories. We literally have history. We literally have history, real life. We have media. You see something in a movie, you read a history book, oh, this would never happen. And then it happens in real life. And nobody does anything. And it's like, girl, you spent your whole journey talking about how you're doing this and you're doing that. You spent your whole life talking about, oh, that would never happen now. That doesn't happen. And then it happens in real life and nobody does anything. And of course, there are a lot of people who are aware of a lot. Awareness and consciousness and conscientiousness and compassion has come a long way. And again, it's like, it's kind of wild to me. And this ain't no tea, no shade. I'm not calling anybody out in particular. But what's wildest to me is that in my friend group on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, it seems like I come across more caring, compassionate people who will put their care and compassion into action than I do on YouTube, where everybody's so spiritual or whatever. It's just like the people in the world give me more faith in humanity than the people in the church and the people who claim to be whatever. It's like, that's why I'm just like, that's why, I don't know, maybe that's why I get so upset sometimes. See ya, staff. Sorry to, I would say like, maybe I'll just like private it or maybe I'll just delete it, but I'm not. Because, and it's again, like sometimes something has to happen. And that's why, like, to me, if everything about manifestation and intentionality and your vibration or whatever, if all of that is true, it is so almost devious to empower people enough to affect the world on one hand, but to also within the same text subvert their desire, capacity, or ability to actually bring it through. And maybe that's why it's like you can't break out the matrix within the matrix, because it's like, oh, to manifest this or to manifest that, do this, do that. So all we do is bring ruin upon ourselves because the same teachings, and is it the teachings or is it people? We don't do the follow through. So things just get bad and they get worse. And then we think that the divine has left us or abandoned us. And again, don't get me wrong, like, tragedy happens, misfortune happens. It's real. Like, it's very much so a real thing. And not everything is something deeper, but for the things that we can actually change and affect and impact, it's like we don't. And I don't know, maybe Dragon ain't here to play it this year. Or maybe this is just Patrick projecting. This is my truth, okay? That's what Google said, yes, take it as it resonates. But also the consensus of Google said, this is Patrick's truth and the Black egg is here. And again, it's like, I'm not necessarily trying to be confrontational. I'm not trying to come for anybody. But it's like it doesn't add up to me. And I'm not the type of friend who's going to, like, if one of my friends is in the wrong, I'm not going to sit here and convince you that you're right. If that's the kind of friend you want, I'm not the kind of friend. I'm not the kind of person you want as a friend. Because if I was wrong, I would want somebody to tell me, even if I get upset or even if it's a harsh truth, right? See ya, Steph. Like, I would want somebody to tell me, because it does no one any good. It doesn't help anybody get where they're going to not hear it. Anyway, you know, the Bible say the devil knows the Bible just as well as anybody else. But it's not even, again, it's not, because it's so easy to be like, it's history, but it's people. It's individual people who wake up, go to work, go to bed, have lives and families, who make choices and decisions to do or not do, to be complacent or to be actively or passively, whatever. And we so like non-duality, there's no good, there's no evil, there's no better, there's no worse. I'll get you my address though. I meant to ask my mom about the PO box and I forgot. But it's like it's being so avoidant to the things that actually empower us to make like physical 3D changes. We just keep stocking up the astral, whatever, hoping for a 5D. It's like we 5D our 3D lives away. And that was the thing about corruptless devil energy. It's like it's also to enjoy life. But sometimes to make life worth enjoying again, like you don't get free money just because it's your last day on earth. So you can live like it's your last day, but if you want to do something on your last day, you better have it in the bank account. Now you can use credit. You can use credit and not pay it back. That's one thing. You know what I mean? That's different. Using credit, taking it out on credit is different. Like you probably still shouldn't do that, but also at the same time, greedy credit corporations don't care about you. You're just a way to make money to them. So hey, why not reciprocate? I'm just kidding. Anyway, we want everything for nothing spiritually, and then it's so easy to just be like, to shift blame and not see where whatever is, and it's fine. But like I said, thank goodness I have social media and not everybody, obviously not everybody on YouTube is whatever, but and it was just, I don't know, it's so wild to me that again, like Mars and Saturn are malefics. I remember this is where like my North Node Sagittarius getting over my Chiron and Leo really kicked up. It was like 2020, right after the North Node had shifted in Gemini. And the world was, things were happening. And it's like, there were some contrasts that were just so stark and that swing so extreme, so suddenly and so quickly that it's like, again, it's like one of those things where like, if you really want to know the truth will be made painfully clear. Even when we may not even necessarily intend for them to be, you know what I mean? Like if you're like, hey, divine, like, what does someone really think about me? Right. And then they're just like extra insensitive or whatever one day. And you're like, this is like what's happening. And they're like, so, and you're like, okay, like I see it. But like, imagine that, but like the world. But anyway, it was like, because Mars was in Pisces, or Mars was about to transit into Pisces. And it was like Pisces, Neptunian 12th house energy is so illusionary and delusional. Like anything that you do while Mars is in Pisces, nothing is going to bear fruit. It's all going to be like an illusion and it's a trick of the matrix. Wait until Mars goes into Aries, because Mars is whatever in Aries. Mars rules Aries and it likes being in Aries and it hates being in Pisces because Pisces isn't real. And then, of course, for me, I'm like, that don't resonate for me. And then I'm using my SKT Vitruvian one day, and Mars in Pisces is literally the 10 of Cups. And I'm like, Mars in Pisces is literally the 10 of Cups. And then Mars went into Aries, and Mars retrograded Aries. Mars was in Aries for a long time. And did your wish come true? Did everything work out for you when you called Mars in Pisces garbage? And no, of course it didn't. Saturn is this. Oh, Mars and Saturn. And it's like, again, Mars is the planet of drive. Saturn is the planet of not only restrictions and limitations, but like Saturn is gravity. Saturn is electricity. Saturn is the things that make our world like work. So why wouldn't you want to know the truth of like how things work? But it's, again, we want to be placated. We want everything with no work. So we venerate Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of giving you everything for nothing. You know, never mind the fact that apparently Jupiter almost swallowed the entire solar system, but it was Saturn that kept it from doing it. If it was up to Jupiter, Jupiter is the machine. The machine that you say is running the matrix, the machine that the government is or whatever is, like that's literally Jupiter. But Jupiter is the greatest benefic. Oh, Jupiter is going direct. Oh, thank goodness. Everything's gonna get so much easier. We're Wally. We're spiritually Wally, just floating in chair. It's fine. I'm done. Did this have to become this? No. Should I really like. I should just crop it. Understanding, looking at both sides. Okay, maybe I'll keep it. The dragon said, "Keep it, because from death grows not death." I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's interesting. Higher, like Sagittarian energy is so interesting when you think of like higher education and philosophy and theology. It's like we as people want the truth, but at the same time, like we don't really want to hear it. Unless it's that we want to hear, but when it's the truth that we don't want to hear, like we don't want to hear it. We'll gladly, proudly believe a lie just for the sake of feeling better about ourselves and our choices. Bottom of the deck, protection, finding what's important, number 26. And then top of the deck is the self, gathering your power and finding what's important. What I love about this is like in protection, finding what's important. We can see this, like it's given me Nymph Angel of Time. The fire that cracks his skin is the same as the fire from within. We can see this fire like starting to sort of burn here, but then in the self, it's like the whole dragon, the whole spine. This is your Kundalini energy. This is your like it's a whole Kundalini dragon rather than just this little bit of fire. We got whole Kundalini, everything lit up, no saddle, just oof. Let's read them from the book. Maybe I should just, that's why I like reading books, because the words in the book are the words in the book, but that don't stop other people from reading books and twisting and interpreting them. It's fine. Protection, finding what's important. The constellation is Ara. The star is Cervantes. Mu Ri, or Mu Ri. Wisdom of the Herald. It's time to define what truly matters most in your life. Take the time to inventory and assess what is really important. Reassess, reprioritize, regroup. Perhaps it's time to change things up a bit. Ask yourself what truly matters to you most. Wisdom of the Dragon. You are protected, you are safe, and in turn, you are a protector and shield, guarding what and who you love most against the cold wind that might blow. Be both protector and protected as you guard against any obstacles that you are facing. Seek comfort and strength in numbers. Shields up. Star Dragon. I'm not going to read the invocation. I'm not going to read it. It's fine. The self is number 12. Ooh, not 12. Be in Pisces. Be in that 12th house of delusion, girl. Be in that 12th house of ain't nothing real. So just waste your days away. Serpens. Oh my gosh, this is the constellation of the snake. Not the constellation of the snake when the snake came out earlier with the flower of life. Anyway. So this snake's got his fangs. I'm kidding. Constellation Serpens. The star is Unu Kalhai. Alpha Serpentis. Wisdom of the Herald. Ride the wave of life and harness your chi. Build up your energy and never back down as you rise in strength and power. Come into your own and illuminate fearlessly. Now is the time to gather your power and rise to the occasion. Go. So one says shields up, the other one says go. This is shield bash energy, where the best offense is a solid defense. To be so unshakable within self that, I don't know. Wisdom of the Dragon. It is all about you right now. Focus on yourself and allow the force of self-worth, self-knowledge, and self-empowerment to bubble below the surface until it pours forth into your outer world. Embody the spirit of who you truly are. It's time to go your own way. Proclaim my way or the highway. I feel like that's given me whatever that judgment in the tiger was giving me. Choice, understanding consequences, surrender, letting go of the darkness. Oh, that's 28. And then one more, returning, going with the flow. That's what it was. It was returning and choice. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna put these down. That's fine. I guess I'm keeping the video up. Let's just, and again, we can do hard things. If there's one thing that living life can tell a lot of us, is that we can do hard things. We can do challenging things. We can do what's asked of us. If we can do what we don't even want to do to make ends meet or whatever, then we can do what we need to do to thrive. It is within the capability of each and every one of us. It always is. Who was that? Somebody flipped over. Let's see. I ain't even gonna put a chili pepper on this. I'm gonna give this the most flowery. Your abundance is coming your way. Love will find you. Sorry. It's fine. White gold dragon from Lyra connects you to the highest Christ light. Develop your causal chakra, bathe in ninth dimensional Christ light. Isn't that interesting how like Jesus Christ was such a rebel? You know what I mean? But more than a rebel in word, he was also a rebel in deed and in action. And like, he was really about that life. He wasn't just like love and light, whatever, but I'm gonna be just as whatever as the world, the rest of the world when I get off this video. Like, he was really about it. He was really out there doing it. And that's why they really came for him. Like, for real, for real. Not, it's fine. Bottom of the deck. Ooh, okay. All right. All right. We're going to soften up a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Maybe I should have exhaled through the nose. It's fine. That one breath was enough. We don't need any more oxygen to fuel the fire. So bottom of the deck is Kuan Yin's Pink Dragon. Brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. Oof. Brings that firm love. If you reset in a karmic balance, it may be time to pay off some debt. Isn't that interesting? Maybe that's interesting, because that's another thing I've been hearing, not necessarily as much, but I have heard from in some corners, not necessarily corners, I have heard for the past few years about like now is not the time to be in debt. If you owe any debt, you better pay it off, because there's this energy of like collecting on karma or whatever. And we've had opportunities to collectively, globally clear our karmic debt that we owe to one another. But of course, it's more so about, like not having credit cards or student loans or whatever, not owing your cousin money because they might use that to extort you out of your blessing or whatever. The debt we owe is to one another. We have gone long enough discarding one another or not really caring what happens to each other as long as we're good, or more so prioritizing and focusing on us. Anyway. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. And I feel like that, there's enough aspects of the divine that'll get down when they need to get down, that'll throw down when they need to throw down. Yes. You know what I mean, though? It's like, Air and water dragon helps you to connect to higher frequencies. Trust your intuition, develop your psychic abilities, be open to enlightenment, express your inner song. There we go. Air and water dragon. We got our white gold dragon from Lyra. Highest Christ light. Firm love that resets your karmic balance. There you go. Resetting your karmic balance, making right what has been wrong. Ooh, I appreciate. And I guess this is. Let me take this moment to thank Eve and Holly and literally everybody who, you know, back in my earlier days, back when I was more chili pepper avoidant, and I was like, "Ooh, like I really don't want to keep this up because it's whatever." Now, like, would I have preferred for things to not necessarily go here? Sure, but I'm not going to take it down. So thank y'all for supporting me until I can reach the point where I support myself. Because I wasn't going to take it down, even though I wish it didn't necessarily come here. Because there are some things that, I mean, I get on here and of course I talk about it eventually, but it's like, again, it's like, you know how some people will be like give somebody enough rope to like hang themselves. It's like that's what almost happens with the Hierophant. It's like the Hierophant, like twisted, correct Hierophant energy will make you spiritual and woke enough for you to call destruction upon yourself because you ask for the rebirth. But it won't necessarily empower you to actually go through the rebirthing process. So then that shadow side of the Hierophant, which could be upright devil energy, gets you. Because now you're like, oh my gosh, the divine has done this and the divine has done that. And meanwhile, the divine is like, well, this is what you asked for. Hey, like this is where you use all those lessons that you learned. This is the point where you like do your healing thing. And you're like, ah. Anyway, it's fine. No, leave me alone. Oh, and the whale. Oof. And there's the oyster. Okay, all right. See, I blame the oyster. The oyster tricked me. I was baited into doing this, and now look at me. I don't know. I'm a Taurus moon, you know. While I like the Pisces in me is very like I feel like before my darkest night, I was a lot better at just like listening to people because that's what I wanted. Like, whenever I talked about what I was going through, I didn't actually want to be out of it or over it. If I did, I wouldn't have, like, the beginning of my friendship with my now best friend wouldn't have been as rocky as it was. I wasn't interested in solutions. I just wanted to have a pity party. I wanted to have pity parties and I wanted people to attend pity parties with, and I wasn't interested in solutions or anything else. But since my darkest night, since I made the choice and decision in my life to like anything and everything I got to do to make things better, I'm going to do, because I cannot go back to where I was. Now it's like I feel like my capacity to just listen or to just endlessly be there and to like, let's all bang our heads against the wall. Yeah, woo! And it's like, yeah, I'm like, no. If you want to bang your head up against the wall, I'm not going to judge you. I've been there. Be my guest. But what I'm not going to do is also bang my head up against the wall, because there are things that I want to do. Emily, oh my gosh, did you just come in? I hope so. Hi, Em, how are you doing? Okay, great. I love it. This reading has been so amazing. Let me stop. Oh my gosh, it's the gazelle. Whoop, 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 and the swan. Whoop, 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 whoop. Did she not mention swans in her last video? See, now we're getting back into the coziness of the everything, you know. I wish I had the book. I mean, I have the book. Let's see. All right. I am just, it's been 2 hours, 59 minutes, and it's been over 3 hours now. Okay. We got a whole bunch of cards that came out. The frog, the elk, the beaver, and the crow. So the starfish came out by itself, which is about healing and regeneration. Over here, the frog can also be about healing, but it's giving me like toxic, almost like the scorpion. And maybe that's Kuan Yin's pink dragon. It's firm love, what may be perceived as a harsh truth. And of course, the reason why I understand and I know that there can be truths that may be perceived as harsh. There can be truths that are harsh. There can be truths that are very hard to hear. But as my journey buddy literally makes an appearance when I was like, there is no bitter medicine that she can give me, because I know her heart and I know that she loves me. You know what I mean? And she's there for me, and she's not going to BS me, and she'll call me out if I need it. And again, like I said, I don't want to be just walking around wrong and stuck anymore. Like pre-darkest night, yeah, like I said, I was all about the pity party. If you ain't here to pity, then you're not here to party. But now I'm like, yeah, no, I'd rather have like an actual party. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather celebrate and continue to celebrate accomplishment and achievement rather than like, anyway. But I just feel like there are enough people on this platform. There are enough people whose mission it is to be palatable and soft-spoken and kind, and to put, a heap ton of sugar in. Like, I don't have any interest in it. I don't believe that I have to be overtly crass and mean or whatever just for the sake of it, just for the fun of it, because that's my whole personality. Like, that's not me either. It's just that, like, I think sometimes when it comes to certain conversations, it's important to have a balance. And sometimes we can be so, oof. Mars did go into Capricorn. Is that why I'm like this? Maybe that's why I'm like this. The moon is in Scorpio, but Mars is in Capricorn. It makes my Scorpio moon go. Now both Mars and Capricorn and the moon and Scorpio go. Heal. It's fine. It may sting like a summer bee, but you'll wake up feeling fine in the morning. People are all about like the plant medicine and stuff, right? You'll hurl and you'll do this and but it'll be worth it. Anyway, not coming again, obviously not coming for anybody in particular, but yeah. So I thought I was just going to be asleep through Moon and Scorpio. I'm going to be asleep for all of Mars and Capricorn too. So I'll catch y'all in however long Mars is in Capricorn. I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't. There comes a point in time where it's not beneficial. It's like if you try to have an intervention with somebody, like if you're having an intervention and the intervention just leads to enabling. It's like I understand, and there's tears. Like, let's start next week, and you're like, okay, so like we'll give you a week, and then we'll do whatever, and then a week later is another intervention, and then there's the tears. It's like that one child. I'm not gonna say that every family has one. I'm not gonna say that every family has only one, but it's like that one child who, like, whenever they get in trouble, they shed some crocodile tears, and the parents cave. And it's like the whole point of the conversation was so that the kid learned something about how the world really works. And in the real world, you can't always just shed a tear and get your way. but they never, like, that point never comes across because every time they shed the tear, the parent caves. Like, I'm not in real life, like, if it were my own kid, then that's something completely different. You know what I mean? I might be the good parent, the one that's like, yeah, it was them. They really shouldn't have called you out on how you were being a little nasty bully. It was them. I'm sorry that they hurt your feelings by letting you know that you hurt their feelings every single day in and day out, and they get no peace. I'm sorry that they made you almost feel accountable for what you do to other people. We'll get through this. Maybe if I have a kid, maybe that'll be me. But you're not my children. You're my friends, and I love you. I care about you. Wouldn't you want to know when your dress doesn't match your shoes, doesn't match your shawl, and when you have like flyaways, even though you just did your hair? Like, wouldn't you want me to tell you? Because if you look at the picture, you'll be like, why didn't you tell me I look like this? Because if I would have told you, you wouldn't have been able to take it. It would have crushed you. And so now you have to look at this picture that will be here forever because you couldn't listen to a harsh word that you want to know for like 5 seconds. I did this for you. I lied to you for you. Anyway, it's fine. All right. See ya, Eve. This video has been over for like an hour. I hope you have a good night. I can't wait to see the new series. Oof. I was like, you doing Wizard of Oz? Lion King? Can I get a Lion King personal? Yeah, the frog, it's coming out as like a medicine. It may be toxic because some frogs are toxic. I don't know if any frog is necessarily medicinal, but it's associated with healing. And then the elk and the beaver. The elk is giving me the energy of stability, but the beaver is giving me the energy of foundations, building something that is truly, and like that's Capricorn. Like Capricorn in its highest light builds something that lasts. It builds something, and like to build something that lasts, there is, like, you have to do your research. You have to look at how the environment is impacted. You have to look at customer satisfaction. You have to look at like good retention. You have to like there are cut like good Saturnian energy is like you literally have to go above and beyond. And what it's like if we look at some of the businesses that are the most successful and some of the people that run them, it's like, how can you cut the most corners, get away with doing the absolute least, pay your workers barely anything because their livelihood cuts into your bottom line? And that's not good Saturnian energy, because if it leads to nobody wanting to work there, if it destroys the environment to the point where like it can't even last, like that's not a good foundation. And so with this crow energy after the beaver and the elk, like in order to build a good Saturnian foundation, you have to do the shadow work and you have to do the healing and you have to do everything that you can do to give it the actual, like, absolute best chance that it has. Saturn can be tough love, but it's love nevertheless. And it's not to say that, and again, like, it's not to say that someone who can't do tough love doesn't love you, right? It's not for everybody to be everything. That's why it's so important. Just like, people will say it's important to eat a diverse, to give your body all of the nutrients and vitamins that it needs, right? And we should have the same diversity everywhere, in at least most places of our lives, right? But just because you're eating diverse doesn't mean that like you're eating garbage, right? Now you can eat a burger or a donut or sugar sparingly, right? But people will be like, oh, well, like if you're so diverse whatever, then I should be able to be absolute garbage, and you should accept me for the absolute garbage that I am. Because if not, then you are silencing me, just like you claim that I'm. I was like, okay, I can eat diverse, but you ain't gonna see me eating food out of the garbage. I can eat diverse, and I can have a healthy balance. Like the key is healthy balance. Maybe that's it. Two operative words: healthy and balance. A healthy balance is important. Me shoveling garbage into my body, while maybe satisfactory for my taste buds, it's not important. And the quantity that I consume it in isn't healthy. Is it part of a balance? It can be, right? Like the non-corrupt devil energy. It's important to enjoy life while we're living life. But healthy is also important, right? So if it's out of balance to a point where it's not healthy, then hey, I don't know. It's just, and again, it's almost like more like, because gaslighting is hot. It's almost just like more gaslighting. Somebody will be like absolute garbage to you and gaslight you into thinking that they should have a presence in your life, or that their words should be listened to, or that they should matter. Like they should get to treat you like absolute garbage, because isn't that what you're about? Aren't you about everybody having a voice? And it's like, yeah, you have a voice. You're talking right now, aren't you? Like, you have a right to say whatever you feel is true. And I have a right to determine who I want in my life. And if I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody saying you can't say, think, or feel whatever you say, think, or feel. It's like, I don't know. It seems that in general, at least for a while, we had become really comfortable with demanding a lot of others that we're not even willing to give ourselves. Hawk is at the bottom of the deck. Hawk said, it's true. Hawk is looking at it from a bird eye view. Hawk has a perspective that we don't on the ground, right? So our perspective may be like, oh my gosh, like you're causing a scene, or oh my gosh, like you really hurt my feelings when you said that. But Hawk can see if this person, if we are honest, or if we receive honesty when we come into this opportunity later, it will benefit us, because it's just like the picture, right? We don't want to hear that our hair is frizzy or whatever in the moment, because we don't want to feel that shame. But when the pictures come out and we look at ourselves in the pictures, we're going to wish that somebody had told us. Cosmic egg, the snake. Oh my gosh, they came back out. And the elk. These two came out earlier. It was the lamb. The snake and the lamb came out. Now it's the snake and the elk. The elk that was with that beaver. And then the bottom of the deck is the horse, giving me almost that chariot energy. Oh, we got sun and moon. Well, kind of eclipsed. We have eclipsed sun and moon. The cosmic egg, the snake, and the elk is giving me like, it's almost the best of what life could be type of energy. And again, snake is giving me that some medicines are bitter. Some it's like toxins can become medicinal. And it's like the cure for the pain lies in the pain type of energy. But that doesn't mean that we just go out and continuously like traumatize ourselves, right? Like the cure for the pain lying in the pain doesn't mean that like if you got stabbed and it festers, like you just keep stabbing yourself. Like that's not the cure. Being in the pain means like somewhere in the wound, maybe something got infected, right? Like that's what it doesn't, that's like, at least when I use it or say that's the at least that's the vibe today. It's not continuously re-traumatize ourselves, but it's to find out, to dig into it and see why it's hurting. And then to remedy that, to remedy from as deep of a level as we can, rather than applying topical whatever. It's like we're applying superficial topical solutions to problems that go deep. And what we're manifesting is like we're making claims to the universe through manifestation, affirmation, and whatever else that we want deep, life-altering results. But again, sometimes it can be hard to achieve if we're only willing to apply topical, superficial solutions. There's nothing wrong with superficial if it's superficial, right? If you have a ding on a car, like a minor ding, and it scratched the paint, all you got to do is put paint over that one spot. It's superficial, but it was a superficial problem. That's all you need. You ain't gotta go replace the whole bumper or whatever, get a whole new chassis for something that you can just paint over. You don't have to do all that. To apply what's necessary when necessary. But if it's like dented, like if you're missing a piece of your car, okay, if you're missing a piece, you can't paint it because it's not there. But if it's dented, putting paint on it, that's not gonna fix the concavity. You know what I mean? It's still gonna be dented with 50 new coats of paint. Unless it's like the 100 layer challenge. You put so much paint on it, like so many layers of paint, that eventually like there's enough dry paint that it makes up for the dent in the car. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, go for that 100 layer challenge. You wouldn't think that fingernail polish can make your nail go from this to that, but you apply enough coats. If you're determined enough, you can make anything happen. Who am I? All right, final card from the Wild Unknown Animal Tarot. Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. I just saw the lizard, but it flipped back over. Yeah, the moth. The moth, the dolphin, the crow. So it came out, it was kind of like this in my hand. Saw the crow and the rabbit in bed, and I was like, well, what's behind the rabbit? It's the dolphin. The moth is giving us transformation at night, right? Transformation in the darkness, just like the butterfly's transformation during the day or in the light. Then we have the rabbit. We've already talked about fear in the Nine of Swords. Oh, I didn't catch that because the rabbit can be fear. The rabbit in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit specifically is us manifesting desires and outcomes that we don't want because of fear. In the book, it's like there's a rabbit that's like, oh my gosh, what if we get eaten by an eagle? What if we get eaten by an eagle? Oh my gosh, is there an eagle around here? Oh my gosh, eagle, eagle, eagle. And then one day there's an eagle that's flying overhead and it hears the rabbit talking about how it's going to get eaten by an eagle. And the eagle's like, I've never had rabbit, but I wonder if it's any good. Like now that you mention it, rabbit, I think I'm in the mood for rabbit. And then the rabbit gets eaten by the eagle. It's like a negative self-fulfilling prophecy type of energy. So in order for that fear, again, if fear is the pain, the solution for that is in it. We didn't get the butterfly. This isn't a love and light and topical. Not that love and light is topical, because there are situations where love and light will cut deeper to the root than shadow work or whatever will, because it's relative, right? Like if you have an aversion to love or an aversion to light, then something heavier and grittier would be more topical. That's like someone who hasn't experienced a lot of healthy relationships. And so they have like a connotation because the people in their lives who were supposed to love them maybe didn't treat them in the best way. They have that association with like, whoa, like that is someone who's supposed to love me. So that must be how you communicate that you love someone. And so they get someone in their life who doesn't have the same maybe restrictions on expressing love for whatever reason. And so like they're really good to that person. And of course, like when someone's good to you, you can recognize it as like good, but there's something in the brain that discombobulates between like, well, they're not treating me like how other people who claim to love me treated me. So do they not really love me? It becomes this whole like thing, right? So for them, love would cut a lot deeper than like, you know, something gritty or blah, 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 whatever. You know what I mean? It's relative. But the solution, the transformation, the wisdom and the pearl of, even though like the pearl is down here, the transformation happens in darkness. We didn't get the butterfly or the rabbit. We got the moth. And it's interesting what moths have verticality where butterflies have a horizontalness. Like verticality. Horizontal breadth. Like butterfly wings go like this and they rest like that, but a moth's wings rest down and they go up, right? Or something like that. The wings move differently. Basically, the wings move differently. And if we look at a seraphic image, if we look at an image of like an angel with like 3 pairs of wings, like let's say that there is one butterfly pair that fold or flap like that, and then there's one moth pair that goes like that, and then there's another pair that moves in dimensions that the human eye can't even conceive of. Because although we live in a 3-dimensional world, we interact, like there's a limitation to the degrees that of freedom through which we can interact, right? It's not like we can necessarily break into the 4th dimension because we want to accomplish a movement in the 3 dimensions that make it difficult, right? It's like if we look at time travel as this napkin right here, right? So let's say that I wish I had like a piece of paper. I have paper somewhere. I just don't want to fight with a napkin. That's fine. Oh, here's a napkin that I don't have to fight with. If we look at time travel, or if we look at the 3-dimensional plane as this napkin. Ooh, Starbucks. My old not sponsor, and it's not even a drink. We look at this napkin as a 3-dimensional plane, and we want to go from here to here. And so we have to walk. We can take this path or we can take that path. And maybe if we're really creative, we can either do one of these and go all the way that way. We can take the really difficult, unnecessary way. We can't necessarily just be like, I think I'm going to bloop, and then jump over there and then unfold it and then we're back. Now, some might say that spirituality or whatever system of belief is our way of doing just that. Going from point A to point B, or going from point A to point Z without B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, and Y-ing our way all the way through, right? And you're right there. But we can't necessarily always do that. We can try to cheat it, right? Of course we can try to, and then that's a 3D perspective on how we would even go about that, right? Because I'm not up in 4 or 5 or whatever dimensions to go like, of course, from the 3D, when you look at the 2D, you think of just like, oh, fold it in half, you save yourself time. But You can move in ways, again, that third pair of angel wings can move in ways that would blow a mind that was conceived and born and interacts daily with the 3D. It would be the equivalent to folding it in half, sure. But in practice, girl, anyway, that's what I got. This video has been 3.5 hours. I guess it's funny. I feel like I've been live so consistent lately. And it's not even necessarily super intentional. But I'm like, I should reach out to this person. I should reach out to that person. Oh, I'm so tired. The divine gives me enough energy to be in service and no more. I'm kidding. That is no excuse. I don't know. It's fine anyway. I got today and tomorrow. All right, I gotta go potty. Thank you, Steph and Eve and Holly and David. I almost said Daniel. And M. Did I say M? I think Steph, Eve, Holly, M, David. Did someone else pop in? I don't know. Thank y'all for being here. This video was what this video was, and it is what it is. I feel like maybe 2024, Year of the Dragon, are moving forward. Like, if we're going to be about that life, let's really be about that life. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to do it, let's really do it. If we're going to ask for something, the least we could do is honor it when it shows up. You know what I mean? And maybe, really get what we want to really get where we're going. And whatever you need along your path, journey, and way, I hope you find. If you need someone who is quieter in voice and more subtle of metaphor and not so pokey or prickly, there are plenty of folks on here on this great platform. Someone whose job, role, duty, responsibility, and desire it is to be that for you. And I hope you find them. Because life is too short to waste time. Okay, it's too short to waste time, but it's not so short that certain things don't matter. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's not that it isn't so short. Our lives aren't so inconsequential that certain things don't matter, even though they are short. Right? Just because a life is short doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that it's any more or less impactful. Doesn't mean that it is any more or less ripe with potential. There are some who come and go in a relatively short amount of time as compared to those who will come and who will be here for a while and who have been here for a while. And it's not about comparison because, again, anything can happen at any age, right? We don't know. Some of us do. For those who know, I'm not going to say that you don't know because you know and you know that you know. And life will tell you, life will show you that you know what you know. You know what I mean? And for others of us, we do our best. I mean, we all do our best regardless. Even if you know, you still got to do your best, right? Just because you know doesn't necessarily mean it'll be handed to you. Just because you know doesn't necessarily mean that you won't have to do anything. But we're better for what we go through. But also, again, there are things in life that happen. That is a general statement. That doesn't mean that every single negative thing that you go through has something to teach you or for you to gain or whatever. Choice did come out. Sometimes it's just a choice. That was really crappy, and I don't want to experience that again. And that's what I get out of it. And you know what? If I get less and less and less of it in my life because I'm learning more and more and more, maybe that was the positive. The positive is that it's over. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'd be like that, right? Sometimes the best thing in the situation is that it's no longer a situation. But sometimes there are other things, and it's all relative. Again, more than anything, I hope your own intuition, discernment, more than that, your own trust or trust in the guidance of your own path. I hope an allowance of you to be you and for things to highlight and illuminate and work for you in the way that they work for you. I hope you not a forced conformity of your life and experience on yourself because of someone else, especially me. Right? And just because something don't make sense for you, don't mean that it don't make sense for me, and vice versa. Just because something doesn't make sense to or for me doesn't mean that it won't make sense to or for you. Steps, Google called me a liar, and I acknowledge that because my truth is my truth, and my perspective and opinion is my perspective and opinion, and it is not universal. So, like, do you. Right? So anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Bye. Thanks again. Boop, 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 boop. Goodbye noises.